On this episode of Turning Point Tactics, I'm joined by two amazing co-hosts, Bart, who I've had on previously from the channel, and Dan from Captain KT, to talk about the current meta going into the World Championships of Warhammer, our predictions of how that meta is going to resolve itself, and do a tier list showing where we think all the teams end up. So strap on in, it's a long episode, but there's loads of great content talking about where your team fits in the wider meta. So with all that said, let's get straight into it. Hello and welcome to Turning Point Tactics, the competitive Kill Team 40k YouTube channel focused on giving you the strategies and tactics to seize initiative every turning point. I'm your host Ryan, and I'm here to help give you the tips and tricks to elevate every part of your Kill Team experience. So no matter if you're a casual or a competitive player, there should be something here for you. If you're interested in supporting the channel, there's a few ways you can go about doing so. You can join the Patreon, where you get access to members only Discord, Patreon priority questions, early access to content, exclusive content, and tournament awards. Or if you find yourself buying Kill Team goodies or hobby supplies, you can use one of our affiliate links in the description below, or discount codes with Crossfire Games and GG Prints. We're always keen to hear your thoughts and feedback, so don't leave that comment box empty, let us know what you think. Once again, thanks for your support, and with all that said, let's get into it. Hello and welcome to Turning Point Tactics, and I'm joined today by...
Captain Kill Team, it's me. We're joining together about time.
We're doing a big collab, but because we couldn't agree who was going to run it, we brought in an impartial, independent observer to make sure it all goes well, which is obviously Bart. How are you doing tonight, Bart?
Not too bad, thank you. How are you both?
I am doing fab, because we get to talk about Kill Team for the next 4.5 hours, which Bart has agreed to.
I have not, but I'm glad that you admitted that I will be the right guy if it comes down to that. So you're wrong, I'm right. So strictly speaking, welcome to my channel. This is my very first tier list, and please disregard the other two blokes that just appeared here by a mere coincidence.
This is it. So we're going to try and power through as fast as we can a Kill Team tier list focused at the World Championships of Warhammer and what we think is going to do well there, because there's currently a whole bunch of teams. There's too many to talk about essentially in too much detail, but we want to give an overview of where the season's at right now, and then hopefully that informs players that are going out to World Championships of Warhammer what we think is going to win, what's not, and then we'll probably never talk about all the declassified teams ever again, right? Does that sound like a plan, Dan?
Classified is going to make this whole thing easier, for sure. That's going to narrow the numbers down.
We'll just have the big shadow realm that exists with all the teams. Cool. So with all that said, I think we're just going to get straight on into it. The first team for us to talk about, and we're doing this alphabetically, by the way, for the ease of speed, is Angels of Death. So first team, let's go with Bart. What do you think, Bart?
I would put them somewhere around B tier. Maybe I'm too generous and like bottom B and top of C. This is where I would see them. They got something out of the patch, but let's be honest, they're blue, not black. So there we go.
Just worth Deathwatch, right? Yep. Dan, thoughts?
Yep. C tier. I also put worst Deathwatch in my notes. I just don't really see why you would play them and not the 5-man team that does what they do but better. Nice.
So Bart thinks they're in B. Dan thinks they're in C. I'm going with C. Like I don't think this team is that great at the moment. Having a 6th body is nice, like against Deathwatch, cool. But each operative is just worse, and they don't have as much access to damage 5. They don't have as much like equipment, all that sort of stuff. They just don't seem to be vibing it, and I don't think the balance changes are that big. Say again.
Very quick. I said, "Oi, mate!" Very quick, short, brief, snappy comments, and move on.
Let's move on. Come on. Let's keep it moving.
3 seconds. Dan, 3 seconds. Now it's me and my time to talk about Marines for 30 seconds.
I just love Marines. Battleclade.
No shit.
Battleclade, Bart. Yours.
Battleclade. Definitely C. They are one of the worst 10-man teams in existence as of now. They haven't got melee, and they won't appreciate the new TAC ops either, I think. At least in comparison to the other 10-man teams, which I love. So, yeah, C tier.
Dan?
I also put C tier. I mean, I just said I feel like you struggle into hordes, into elites. If they hug you, it's a pain. But there's probably something that can be done with smoke grenades and stun grenades, is my theory. But I'm yet to see a really strong player take them to good heights.
Yeah, I'm actually even more harsh than them. I think they're D tier. But I'll go with the consensus that it's C. Oh, B, apparently. It was C, and I agree with you guys both. Like, I just don't see how they really get to work with their APL efficiency. It's like an odd APL efficiency, and I just don't really get it. That's Battleclade. C tier. On to Blades of Khaine. Bart, where we at?
I would say definitely the better elf team these days, especially when we compare them against Void Dancers, so the other 8-man elf team. I would see them probably top of B. Yeah, I would say top of B, maybe the very, very bottom of A, but yeah, I would say top of B.
Okay. Dan, thoughts?
I put S tier. I feel like they're really good. I think Contempt's a great tool. I think they're really good into the current meta. They can definitely compete with Deathwatch. I think they can compete with Canoptek. And they're pretty good against Raveners, who I also think are one of the other top dogs right now.
I also had this team in S, so we'll balance it out and put them into A. For the similar sort of reason, I think with their flexibility on tack ops and stuff is just really good. Just being able to flex between all of them. I think now that like Void Dancers aren't quite as good as they are, or they were, these guys are now better, and they didn't really seem to get nerfed, in my opinion, at all. Whereas a lot of other teams got nerfed.
Minimal.
Right. Clearly, Bart's like absolutely not. They're not dwarves.
I mean, they're not. They're not in S tier, definitely. I think if you put them aside, the other S tier teams or team, then like they're not there. They may be in A. I can agree with that, but they're not in S. Like,
This is the benefit of this. The beauty of this is that it averages it out, and we'll have the perfect tier list at the end of it. Scientifically proven. Okay, next up is Blooded. Bart, where we at?
I think they like the changes to tac ops. A melee horde with access to both seek and destroy and infiltration, which is like I'd say quite decent. However, they may not particularly enjoy the power creep that has happened and touched Kill Team over the course of past like 18 to 24 months. So I would say, yeah, do we really think ET is realistic? Like it's like as in it exists. I would put them in D, maybe C. I don't think they're that great.
Okay. Dan, where we at?
I said B tier. I feel like Blooded definitely can compete. I think they have a really high damage output. You have a difficult matchup into like Raveners, but I feel like they can punch up into elites, and I think the changes to crit op are really good for hordes like Blooded.
Yeah, I'm gonna split it right down the middle because I thought they were in C. Like I think they're just like consistent like average team. I agree with you though, Bart, that like I think they're not like the most powerful horde, but they do like the fact that the new tac ops is better for them. They do like the fact that when everyone else is getting nerfed, they got a buff. And I think they can do well, but they're also just not particularly like exciting. I don't know what it is about them. They're okay.
They're just too fair.
They're too fair. Like
That's the thing.
like,
They're too fair. Like if you play Kill Team in a fair way, as in I'm gonna move and shoot or I'm gonna charge and fight you, that's not enough these days.
the biggest
What sense are they just a worst Inquisition?
Well, yeah, basically. That's what I think. I think they are a worse Inquisition, and I think the biggest nerf that they got was that Diabolic Bomb is now heavy reposition, right? So like they now just can't get that efficiency they used to have. Like the threat range used to be insane. It used to be indirect, and you could move, dash, and throw it. Now it's like it's just not what it was.
Yeah.
Do we think that they are in the middle of these two though, or?
Oh, are we doing it like that?
Yeah. I think they're better than
Battleclade for sure.
I would put them at the very top of these three as of now.
Top of these three, yeah? Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can agree on that, I think. Sweet. That's it on Blooded. Let's move into Brew Brothers. Bart, you've had some experience with this team, so what's your thoughts?
Well, if you're putting Blades of Khaine at like almost S tier, and like I don't know if we've got enough tiers for all the teams in the game, but yeah, definitely above Blades of Khaine, I'd say. They are a very strong team. They play tac ops really well, and yeah, they got touched a bit by the newest balanced data slate, but I think it's not enough to knock them down. What I dislike about them is a tiny bit of inconsistency when it comes to killing enemy operatives, but they make up for it with mobility and good tac ops. Yeah, very solid A-tier team.
Dan, thoughts?
Similar stuff. I said A tier. I feel like they're a strong horde. They've got some cool tools. They do have good damage output, even if it is a little bit inconsistent. And yeah, hordes are good at crit op now. I rate Brood Brothers.
And do you rate them above or below Blades of Khaine?
I think below. I think the Icon nerf I don't think was very impactful, but I just feel like Blades of Khaine are better into this coming meta.
Yeah, so I also have them at A, but I have them towards like the bottom of A. The reason is that I think they have some particularly like poor matchups in instances, which they struggle to deal with. I actually think
Like Ravenous?
Yeah, like I think they struggle with Raveners. I think they don't like Goremongers that much. Like
They used to be bad into Hierotek. Of course, we'll get to that.
Should be
probably
okay
similarly
now.
Not if they.
And I don't hate the idea of fighting them with Deathwatch or something like that, which against a lot of teams I do. But I'm just like, I actually think that you have a melter gun that when it's done, it's done, and then I'm going to ragdoll you with the rest of my Marines. Maybe that's just me, but A tier, just below Blades of Khaine. 2 votes for below, 1 vote for above. So we'll go with that. Next up is Canoptek Circle. Dan, Bart, sorry, fucking hell.
I think we all know where this is going. Put them where they belong, please, Ryan. The only thing I would add, to that is if they actually will allow them to play Envoy with the expendable operatives, that will be just straight up ridiculous and should not be allowed. I think this team has got enough in it to win against most of the meta without that. So there's that. Yeah, put them in S tier, please.
Okay, I'll agree on D. No, all the way up to S. Dan, what's your thoughts on Canoptek Circle?
Yeah, unplayable now that the Seek Light is 5 attacks. Look, they are beatable. Diamonds are not unbreakable type of thing. In saying that, I am playing them for Worlds. I think they are the best team in the game.
What a shocker. That is Canoptek Circle.
I think I remember him saying at one point that he always really liked the Canoptek lore. I think that was it was the first team that he was wanted to play.
I don't think I know that one.
Canoptek Circle, I always think the rest of it. So the one thing I would just add on the balance change that I think is relevant. I thought about it and I was like, oh yeah, obviously they can't make a 4 APL Geomancer anymore. And then I realised that they have the accelerator bug that can just accelerate the Geomancer.
That doesn't work. He doesn't have the Canoptek keyword.
Okay, cool. So they've lost that. Okay, that's good.
Oh,
so that's good. Okay, all right. That's still less.
It's a shame. Yeah.
Don't worry, Dan. You have just highlighted that they will manage to squeeze that in as an emergency FAQ just before Worlds.
And get it in. They're so hard to kill, man. Like that's the issue. Like Deathwatch are by far the killiest team in the game. I might be wrong. And even then, most of the time you look at it and you go, I'm not sure I can kill these guys. And I don't know how other teams feel about it, because like if I think that with a 5 attack relentless plasma gun with 5/6 lethal 5 piercing 1 rending, I don't know how anyone else thinks about it when they're shooting one of those bugs. But anyway,
I played into Wrecka Krew the other day, and we were just trading shots. He'd shoot me for 6 hits, and I'd be like, okay, well, make all 3 saves just to scratch, 8 damage.
Still here. It's just absurd. Okay, we are now into Chaos Cult. You guys have played loads of Chaos Cult games against Nick, so you must have some opinions on this. But
not really.
Well, I would say that I can see many people putting them in like A tier, and they do not accept anything below A tier for them. But to me, Chaos Cult, especially considering the new Tumult maps, where mobility and ability to reach your opponent is extremely important, I would say I can't see them above B, so I would put them in B. Like it's just that sometimes you just won't be able to reach your opponent, and that's it.
Nice. Mobility issues, Dan.
Yeah, I had them in A tier. I feel like generally crit op's pretty good for them, and I think that's their game plan to win the game. Is they're very difficult to beat on kill op. I think that generally tac op's gotten a bit better for them with track enemy or whatever, install devices, and I think they're really good at crit op. So it's going to be actually quite difficult to punch through all of those models and actually win the game.
I'm going to steal some of Ryan's time now, but as much as I agree with you in
We're gonna be here
principle,
4 hours with this guy. Oh.
there are certain teams that are better than Chaos Courts on Kill Op right now. There are certain teams that are better than them on Crit Op, and the fact that this team can lose to a well-placed barricade sometimes is it's not great. That's why B, I'd say.
Yeah, so I think personally that they're A, but towards the bottom of A. So I think averaging it out, they probably come down below Brew Brothers. We can have a debate in a second about that. I think you're right though. Like, they are very map dependent. But some of the new missions I think is quite favourable for Chaos Cult because they didn't have the APL, but now a lot of the missions just sit on a mission like marker, and they can do that kind of well, and they have the ability to control markers better. The other thing that I think is good for them is that the new TAC Ops are actually way better than they were for them before. So better TAC Ops, some of the critical missions are pretty good. You are right on some of them, like the maps. If you play like an old ITD map as well, it's just like a big open shooting gallery and they can't hide. They have to do things like which are not necessarily intuitive, like use their barricades to open up routes for themselves. So they have to take light barricades and place them on the center of the board to like access areas of the board that otherwise you get a razor wire and you're done. So
Ryan, since you said that this is specifically for WCW, Nick mentioned some rumor that apparently there's a possibility that in Atlanta they will be playing with Beta Decima as well, and I would like to see you guys placing them in A on Beta Decima as well. Just show me how it happens. And show me how it works, how you win with this team against the top dogs on Beta Decima.
There you go, guys. Vespid meta. You heard it here first.
I mean, you're not wrong. Like if you go into that, if you draw a beta Decima, I mean they can be surprisingly fast, plus on move, 2-inch climbs, that sort of stuff. But you're right. Like I don't know what you do. And they can't hide between torments can't hide between light terrain anyway. So like the whole map is just shooting.
For any melee team, not fun.
So do we think based on Beta Decima being, because I think for all of us, we don't play Beta Decima, right? Like pretty much in our communities. So if they are playing Beta Decima, do drop them to B? Because
but like E tier on Beta Decima, so
yeah, like to be like trying to average that out. It's like 1/3 of the maps, right? So
that seems harsh. Like, oh, they're really, really good, except for one format no one plays.
Yeah, the question is if. So like if it's just ITD and it's just Volcus, I think they're bottom of A. If Beta Decima comes in, I think they're bottom of B. Maybe. That
skew of an auto lose, I think, drops you more than a tier.
Yeah,
it's an of C tier, in my opinion. But I think they're A tier otherwise.
Let's leave it here, and then just like footnote for people: if it's Beta Decima, Chaos Cult, they don't enjoy it, and that saves us spiraling on this for a while.
If it's Beta Decima, just attach some wings to your torments and play them as Vespid.
40mm Vespid? I'm okay with it. All right, next up is Corsairs. Bart, what do you think Corsairs?
Who? No, sorry. I know that there are many, elf lovers and enjoyers.
You made Sir Cam play them.
No, I would say let's be generous. Let's put them in B because that tier is very empty. So there's that. Like, yeah,
is that the logic?
Corsairs, no, it's not the logic. I think that Corsairs have historically proven to be a team that has a lot of damage output, where like in comparison to other teams existing in this game in general, and they still have their own tricks. It's just that they may have fallen behind with those tricks due to the overall power creep, but I think they're still okay-ish. Let's put it that way.
Dan, what's your thoughts?
I think they'll do well. They really enjoy an elite meta because of that high damage output, but I feel like they will struggle into a lot of the hordes, and I think we are seeing a lot more hordes coming back. So I think for that same reason, B tier.
So I had them in C, so I'll yield to B. They're outcasts; they want to be on their own anyway, so it makes nice, pretty pictures. The only reason is I'm trying to think what TAC Ops they're really good at now. So like retrieval, well, they're 2 APL really. I mean, like an APL buff, but like sure. But they're 2 APL. Okay, that's not the easiest thing for them to do. Scouting
That's what
movements.
Sturkan was playing, and then he swapped the guy who had retrieved with the
Teleport
psychic
away.
power.
I mean, it's a cool technique, but like, wouldn't you rather just have a 3 AP model that goes on, takes it, and kills a guy? Like, you know what I mean? Like most of the time you end up using your APL to just like. So anyway, but like scouting movements, obviously S tier. Oh, maybe not. So they haven't got access to that. Retrieval is okay. Flank, they're only 2 APL. Like, so now they're into seek and destroy. Dominate, they're weak as hell. So rout, like, rout is their play, and for me that means you're forced into like a hyper aggressive playstyle, which I don't know. Like, I'm just worried that they're fragile and they die, because you don't want to be doing sweep and clear. My 2 cents. I yield to beta. Next up,
I'm not that big on route either, generally.
On what? Sorry.
On route, I don't know. Killing 2 models within that thing just feels quite difficult to make consistent.
When they're a 2 APL team that has a free dash, like, you're not getting double kills that easily. So
yeah,
like they can get it, and against elites your point's 100% correct because they get 2 PvP for that, so makes sense. But yeah, before we spitball on a team that's going out of fashion, we'll go to another team that's going out of fashion.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Welcome to our TED Talk about a team that is about to rotate out. Is clearly very relevant.
I'm saving my time for Deathwatch. I've got so much to talk about. Deathcore. But let's talk about the Imperial Guard.
West-blooded, on their way out, they lost their chum. They will struggle into most of the top teams. They will struggle into better hordes. Just because you put that E tier there, I would put them there. Like, I don't like them.
Cool. E. What do we think, Dan? E or better?
I don't see why you'd play them and not a good horde like Brood Brothers or something, to be honest, or Chaos Cults, for instance.
Yeah, I struggle. Like, this team is better than some other teams, but like not by much. And Tac Ops, I think they kind of suck at. Like, Envoy, nice on turn 2, but if you go into an aggressive opponent, it can just get really bad for you, because then your initiative rolls, like, the first thing that dies is your Envoy. Martyr, sure, like, you're just trading kills for maybe some VP. I don't know. And then, like, what else after that? Like Plant Banner? Like, I don't know. I just don't see it with this team.
I think they lack tools, and I think they lack melee.
Yeah, and I think, like, as you said, there's so many hordes that are just better. So you all questioned the E tier, and now you've all agreed that it belongs in E.
No, they would have been in D, but something has to be in E tier because you put it there.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, Deathwatch.
Deathwatch. Need a buff, right? We're all agreed. Need a buff. But what buffs would you?
Operative.
Last one operative.
Last one operative.
Really, to the Warhammer players, right?
So I'm on the fence with this one. I think that there's either one S tier team, which is Canoptek, or 2 of them, and the second one is Deathwatch. The reason for that is that I think Deathwatch are way stronger in comparison to other elite teams than people. So people cannot put them in the same bucket. Oh yeah, just another elite team, but a bit stronger. The fact that they can double contract, they can ignore obscurity, so they can safely sit in smokes. They can change their order, and they can do all of that on demand. It almost feels as if they were on guard all the time. And on top of that, they take that portable barricade for the breacher, and they've got 2 walking bunkers, which are extremely hard to shift. So for that reason, let's put them in S tier. That's what I would do. Yeah.
Okay, Dan, where are we at?
You're not beating the Meta Chaser allegations either, right? I think they're S tier. They have incredible stats, incredible tools, operative flex. I just feel like all of the elite teams that have been able to compete with everyone else have done so because of insane tools, and I think Deathwatch have that. The damage reduction is huge, and then just they have ignore obscuring, all the different specialists you can take, like double counteract, flip order. It's all just enough to make them that good.
So
Ryan, before you say that they're D tier and you want to balance them out around B, I'm going to ask you one question. If I gave you a choice between Deathwatch with +1 operative or Kasrkin with +3 operatives, are you still on Deathwatch?
yeah, I'd still take Deathwatch.
Thank you very much. Let's move on.
No, so I'm actually gonna say I do agree with both of you, right? So I think Deathwatch do like so what so many of the elite teams struggled to do in the past is skill expression, which Deathwatch actually let you do now. So
Yeah.
having that roster flexibility just means that you can just outplay people on your operative selection, tack up choice, and all that sort of stuff, and equipment choice before you even get to the fight phase. And then you're in it, and they have so much flexibility against horde teams. The double counteract is insane. Like, it's so good because it just lets you maintain pace against those horde teams. They like having the ability to flip your order, massive. Like so much in the past, you'd be concerned about, oh, I'm going to get overrun. They're going to do some low damage to me. I can't interact with them. Now you can. You have guard on open board if you need it, which is not really a thing. But double guard on ITD is definitely a thing that is insane. So each of the operatives, sorry, that's not true. There's 2 Gravis operatives that are garbage and never take them, and then the rest of them are all really, really good. So they're all I think they're S tier. I think you can do so much with that team, and
They do.
sorry, I'm gonna say,
Yeah,
and all the other teams that were a problem for them just got nerfed. The smoke grenade nerf is big for the team. Don't get me wrong, they do not like that smoke grenade nerf because they were one of the main teams that used smoke grenades because of the double counteract. But the fact that everyone else got hit so hard and they didn't really get hit is what for me put them from A into S, because everyone else got knocked down and now they are still chilling out at the top. So I think they're S tier. There you go.
They do seek light, but I think for such a durable team, you sit on the vantages, you shoot them, and then they counteract flip order and shoot you off the vantages, or you bring the head taker to climb freely up there. It's just it's not enough of a weakness, I think.
Yeah, or you find a different vantage to climb up and shoot them across the board, ignoring obscurity and saturate, that sort of thing as well.
Dan, don't give him any more opportunities to talk even more about Deathwatch. Let's move on to Starstriders.
Love this team. So we'll just sit here and talk about this team for a little longer. Starstriders, another team that I love. But let's start with Bart.
I'm gonna put them in B, which stands for definitely forget about them, Mikkel. No, I think they lost their charm as well over the course of time, and I might be wrong on this, and Mikkel may be the first one to step forward and say, no, actually, but they play TAC Ops better now, and they will be an okay team these days. But I don't see that. I think overall that they will require a lot of sweat to actually squeeze something out of them. So I'll put them in D.
Sweet. Dan?
I mean, going slightly off the competitive train, I think it's a shame that a rogue trader team is not super relevant. I really enjoyed them being towards the top of the meta, but I don't think they're so good anymore. I think, again, similarly, they lack melee, they lack certain tools, and just for a 10-man team, they're not that durable, they're not that good at scoring, and they're only pretty good at damage output.
Yeah, so having played a bunch of them before the new TAC Op change, I love this team. They're so much fun. They're awesome, but they have some god awful matchups. Playing against Fellgore is horrendous.
Ravenous?
Ravenous, I don't know. Yeah, probably also horrendous. And then not just that, but Goremongers. Good God, they just they just have these terrible matchups. The assets are great against elites, but they're so whiffy. So you have this beam that I'm going to kill an elite this turn, and you roll rubbish.
They have a command point problem.
Yeah, and you're out. And now their TAC Ops, I just don't think are as good as they used to be. Plant Beacons was good for the team. They're free mission actions. They have access to ways of doing it. Now they don't have that. I agree with D. I think they're a D tier team. So they can sit there on the lonesome. Next up, though, is Exaction. Obviously, a straight up to S, right? Bart, what's your thoughts on Exaction?
Maybe not straight up to S, but I think they got better. They got something out of the balance data slate that is going to apply very shortly. So what I would say is maybe like B. Like I would like to see them in A, because they do have some unique tools like spamming those shield guys and shooting into combat and ignoring cover from a bit of a distance. But I don't know if they got enough in the killingness department. So there's that. Let's put them in B. That's what I would put them. But definitely above Corsairs.
Dan, what's your thoughts?
This is one of those teams that I think breathed a sigh of relief when Hierotek left the meta, but it's not freedom, guys. It's under new management. I think simply I don't.
Dan, is it one of those 40 teams that breathed a sigh of relief?
Maybe. I don't think they can beat Canoptek. I think the Hierotek matchup was miserable for them, even more miserable than everyone else finds it. I think similarly Canoptek's going to be really tough. I just think some of these top meta teams are going to be too much of an issue for Exaction, even though I think they are generally quite a strong team. So I put them in B tier. I just think you'd struggle to win at the most competitive events.
Yeah, so I've actually been a little bit harsher. I think they're C tier, but I'll happily yield to B, I guess. The reason why I think that they're C tier is we talk about honest teams. Like, this is actually an honest team. Like, they have some cool mechanics, like the execution order, but as soon as you figure out how that works, and you just go, I just don't sit on an objective and you can't do anything about it. It's like, yeah, oh, okay, perfect. And then also, having played a team that has damage reduction on 4 damage or more, and a team that's entirely 3 damage, like, it just hurts for them, because they just can't kill, like, the Deathwatch that effectively. 2 Swords to Piercing 1, that's a nice buff. Like, having lethal 5 and stuff, that is nice. But it just doesn't help you when your models just fold in half, and the guys that you're going against you just can't kill. It's the same for scouts, right? Like, scouts can't kill Deathwatch. These guys can't kill Deathwatch. They can't kill Canoptek Circle. And then, as we add more teams, I think, to the top of the meta, we're probably going to see that they're not going to enjoy it too much. So I think they're just too slow. They're too honest. Seek and Destroy and Security, like, I don't know how well they score. I haven't seen them do too well on that. And so therefore I think they're B. I personally would put them at the bottom of B, but you guys both think they're above Corsairs?
Yeah. They seem great when your opponent runs into your shields. However, once they stop doing that and you have to be proactive, that then feels like you're in a bit more trouble.
Yeah. Okay. Agreed. So, B tier for Exaction Squad. Next up is the Krew, Farstalker Kinband. What are we thinking?
So, I would say, I'm a non-believer when it comes to Krew. I've never bought into that. Oh yeah, but they play the mission really well and tack up really well when they historically could like max every, tack up on turning point 2, because then they die and they just don't kill anything, and that hasn't changed. And I think that they will struggle a bit more when it comes to certain crit ops these days, because some of the crit ops these days require you to have more operatives alive by the end of the game, and they tend not to. So I'm going to put them in D tier.
Cool.
What are we saying, Dan?
Yeah, I also would say top of D tier, above Starstriders, but I just think they are good at the new crit ops, but they were pretty good at the old ones. They're not killy enough. I think the difficulty of tac op scoring has made your avenue to win the game difficult, and I feel like there's a lot of teams that just flatten them and run them over, like Deathwatch and Canoptek, for instance. So that is very limiting to the team, I think.
Okay, that's interesting. I actually had him in like C tier. I think they're okay on the new tac ops, because that, like, for instance, if you play plant devices, you can guarantee 5 VP from like turn 2, and it's unstoppable. And the way that some of the crit ops work, I think they quite like. I don't think they're as like not killy as people think, but they are difficult to play. They're very fragile, and I agree with them on kill op. Like it quickly becomes a problem. So I would have put them in C, because I think they can score well. Like in comparison to Battleclade, like these guys can just go take Battleclade's objectives, score against them, and just beat them on points.
And then die.
But they probably have like more on crit, more on tack, and like an average amount of kill op. So like it's kind of fine. So that's my logic on it. But I disagree. D tier for the Farstalker Kinband. All right, next up is the Fellgore Ravagers. Bart.
I have to say that I'm getting slowly tired of going first all the time. So Dan, you're gonna take the first go from Gellerpox onwards, and then we're gonna swap again. But goats. I'm gonna put them in B, maybe even A. Like I think there's a lot to them still, and Frenzy is one of the strongest mechanics ever printed in this game. And that's why I believe there should be where about like A, B tier, like maybe B. Yeah. I'm gonna put them in B.
Top of B.
Dan?
Yeah, I'd put them in low A tier. Definitely, they've lost the nerfs, meant they use a bit of utility and frenzied goats. I don't think that actually makes that much difference because you generally wanted to charge and fight anyway. Yeah, I do not like the fact that Fellgores are doing what they're doing, in that you get absolutely folded by Deathwatch, but you're such a problematic matchup for so many of them. I feel like Goremongers are cooler Fellgores, and I just think Fellgores are still grossly strong. I just think that competitive players are put off by the fact they have some pretty unwinnable matchups.
So you think top of B?
I said low A, but
Low A?
yeah, I could also be top of B.
So I actually think they're low A as well. So it's 2 for low A, 1 for top of B. I think they're low A because like the common trap that I think loads of people fall into with Fellgore is exactly that, where they go, all they want to do is charge and fight. And I'm like, no, you want to do charge and mortal wounds and then let your opponent have to fall back and shoot you and probably not kill you because you're 10 wounds. And then someone else charges and does mortal wounds and whatever else. And they just clog up the board. And if you play them like that, flank can become really good because there's 10 bodies that just don't get shifted. And they can just like dogpile onto people. Or you can play route or something like this and just be really aggressive. And it's like that's the play style. I think that where the team struggles is when you start losing them in your own activations. So it's charging good melee operatives and dying in your own activation is what I see Fellgore players do. And I'm like, you have guys that just hand out mortal wounds that just need to do that repeatedly. And like, that's the Goremonger matchup, by the way. Like, in my opinion, is you play something like flank, you just run forwards, you do mortal wounds, and they go, oh, but then my opponent's going to heal. And I go, brilliant. They can spend their Gore tank healing rather than killing.
And not have rerolls.
And they don't have rerolls. They can't rake anymore. Like, all this sort of stuff. Like, this is brilliant for me. So the more blood they spend healing their mortal wounds, the better it is. And neither of you are going to kill each other in a single fight. So that to me is great. And then when you frenzy, then you just start smashing like heads in with whatever damage you want to do. So for me, I think they're bottom of A because they're so problematic for so many teams. But I know what you mean, Bart. Like, there's some matchups with elites you just think, oh man, these guys can kill me, and they just do the damage, which hurts.
I don't see them winning worlds though.
Some matchups, Deathwatch.
No, agreed.
Some matchups. How many Deathwatch players do we get on average at events these days? Is it like 25%?
Oh, it's not
or
that
has
high.
it gone up to 30?
15%, I think, is the thing. Elites as a whole, like 40% or 35%.
That event in Brighton that I played last Saturday, 38 players, 11 Deathwatch players. Like good luck having goats in A tier. Have fun, enjoy.
But I don't think that's gonna be the case at WCW, right? Do you think there's gonna be? Do you think like 30% of the meta is gonna be Deathwatch?
Yeah.
I think. Okay.
No, because 80% of the meta is going to be Canoptek.
I think they're okay against Canoptek. Like, they just run next to them and just try and score flank and just like dogpile and do more. I don't know. It's a dumb play style. I hate Fellgore, but like it is what it is, right? I'm sorry if you like Fellgore. I'm sorry. Gellerpox. Let's move on before I get trolled.
I'm starting this time.
You're starting because I have no idea.
They are a team I've played a fair bit, and they are a team I've played a fair bit this edition. I had a couple matches the other day into Mandrakes. They did just receive a nerf, which feels a bit weird because I don't think they were that strong, and people say maybe it's because Orion was doing well with them. I'm not too sure, but I said C tier. I think they have lost some survivability. They're really good with the new tac ops. I think, like, you know, Envoy to just fling one of your little guys forwards and score that is really good. But I just don't feel like they are as survivable as they should be, and I think that's the job of the team. given they don't injure in melee anymore, you get like ripped in half by Nemesis Claw or something that charge into you. And similarly, there's just some of your models just don't do that much heavy lifting. So I feel like Gellerpox do struggle to do what they are supposed to, and for that reason, they're not as good as they could be.
So you think top of C or?
Probably bottom of C. I rate the other ones there a bit more.
So injuring, like on the nerf, like so it used to be you count being injured, it doesn't stack with injury, right? So minus with the hit doesn't stack with injury, but now 3s just don't count as hits. So like against Nemesis Claw, against your elite teams,
Only when you're fighting.
Only when you're fighting. Oh, is that how
Yeah.
they changed it? Oh, that is dog.
Yeah, because they'll charge into you and they'll rip you to shreds.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that is really bad, isn't it? Okay, weird. Yeah, I don't know why they got that nerf. Again, I literally know nothing about this team. I never see them get played competitively. So I've said repeatedly on the last few episodes, I'm like, I just don't know what to say. So
I did something cool the other day. I put one of the flies on guard on into the dark with the idea, oh, you run forwards, I'll shoot you with the stun weapon. He ran forwards and tried to do his plan anyway, and I didn't roll a 6. So, I was like, oh, yeah, well, that's going to happen sometimes.
That'll be it. Yeah, I'll just say whatever Dan says. C makes sense, sure, because I haven't played against his team, so I'd be lying if I tried to make an opinion. But
I haven't got much to add to this. All I can say is that I haven't seen them play in a very, very long time. I don't like teams that can lose to a well-positioned barricade or two. And yeah, I'm gonna lean on what Dan said as well. So, but truth be said, I wouldn't put them above C anyway. So yeah, there we go.
Nice. The barricade thing is they can at least remove some equipment, so there's a chance they just get.
Yeah, it's on a roll.
Yeah. Goremongers. Dan, you're starting now, so.
Yep.
Move
so I still rate them. I actually do think they're a slightly better Fellgores. The nerfs didn't hit them super hard, in my opinion. I feel like they just removed a couple of their weirder tricks. Similarly, you'll struggle a lot into Deathwatch. They're actually probably pretty good into Canoptek, but like Blades of Khaine is going to be tricky. Any of the elite teams will probably be really tough for them. But I think they are slightly better than Fellgores. I think they play TAC Ops pretty well, and I think they are very good at Kill Op. But they serve a pretty similar role to Fellgores in my mind.
Cool. I guess I'll go next. So I think they're worse than Fellgore. Ooh, controversial. I think I think they're like top of B tier. But I think their defense mechanic is easier to get around than Fellgore's defense mechanic. So I think the runes thing isn't as good as a defensive buff as Fellgore's. They're as hard to kill as Fellgore, but they have 10 models. Fellgore have 10, they have 8. The APL efficiency is much a muchness because sure you can spend a Gore tank, but you don't want to spend it because then you affect your reliability. And I find it to be really unreliable. And because there are only 8 models, when someone dies, they die for realsies, and you struggle to maintain momentum. So I've seen so many games lost with Goremongers by either teams that can shoot twice, just doing 6 damage, or like just a whiffed roll here and there, which they can't interact with, and they absolutely hate Deathwatch. So I put them at top of B, but I guess you're now the determinant.
I'm actually going to put them in top of B as well, and the reason for that is that they hate Deathwatch, and yes, there's a certain benefit that they have over Fellgore, which is the ridiculous mobility. So you will lose some games against them. I lost a very important game against them at WTC because of their mobility. And yeah, you can say that this compensates a lot, and I think that mobility is very important in this game. However, as you said, there's a bit fewer of them, and I do agree that their durability, survivability mechanic is worse than that of goats. So yeah, let's put them in top of B.
Nice. With Call the Horde, by the way, on the initiative thing, like they go the same distance, so like it's just not obvious, right? Like.
Yeah.
Mid turning points is the change. Do you have a
They lost
reattack?
recover items. I just feel like they're unplayable without that golden tack on. Like,
That's what they needed. They need stuff that they can just go and pick up on the floor. You definitely trolled all the Goremonger players into playing that for a while, by the way. And they're like, why am I losing? And it's like, because it's a garbage tack up. And now you're telling them all to play scouting movements. You're a horrible man.
Retrieval is the better version of recover items, I think.
All right. Next up is Hand of the Archon. Dan, where are we at with Hand of the Archon? Freshly buffed.
I don't know. They feel like such a weird team, and I feel like I don't really see anyone play them. I got a match against them coming up. I said quite a tentative B tier. They feel like a slightly worse Corsairs to me. I feel like they similarly don't have much double kill potential, and they don't feel quite like the operatives are as crazy as Corsairs. Obviously, hit the crit is an incredible buff, like team wide. I don't know. Ceaseless, does it really given them that much back? I'm still not a massive believer in Hand of the Archon. So I said like just below Corsairs, B tier.
I think. Well, this is it. Like interesting. I think maybe are they better than Corsairs? I think maybe they're better. No, I don't know. Like they're the momentum team. Like they're better at scoring tack ups. Maybe
Against them much.
But yeah, I put them against a few times, and like I've just been mean. Like it's the when they have to do the whole like if I pass my first activation, sorry, my first strategic deploys, I get a CP, and you're like cool.
Well.
And you're like, just remind me, have you put down any pain tokens yet? No, and it's like, okay, I'm just gonna pass, and then like, oh, I'm nothing. And you're like, yeah, you have nothing this entire turn. I think top of C is like where my gut's telling me like they're okay. But if you whiff on those first few kills, and sure you get ceaseless now, nice, but like maybe you don't have that token in the first place. Like if you whiff on that first kill and now you're not generating those pain tokens, it just feels like it's really really painful. So painful pain C. That's why I'm thinking. But I guess you get to determine where are they going? Are they B? Are they C?
This is what I think about this team.
Even worse.
I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, it's a trap. Please, if you want to play with an elf team, play Blades of Khaine. Don't play with emo elves. And I would put them in D tier. I'm sorry, but I don't believe in Hand of the Archon. Yes, so, I think that the grenades this edition is way worse. They do have to perform 17 backflips to get to the same level of power, raw power during the game as Corsairs or Blades of Khaine get just because they deploy the models on the board. So yeah, I would put them in D tier, but yeah, I guess they will remain in C tier because you are Hands of the Archon believers. There you go.
I won't say we're believers. It was bottom of B, top of C, and D. So I think averaging out, bottom of C.
I thought that was hope.
we agree.
Oh, sorry, I meant F. I meant F.
It's all the way down here, yeah. Let's go with that. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I can see them beating these teams. I can see them struggling against these teams. I believe it. Yep. I believe it. Okay, now for a totally non-biased discussion around the next team. Hearthkyn Salvagers. Bart doesn't want to start this one.
Get ready for 3 hours of my TED talk. No. Like, jokes aside, I'm going to say we are back, baby. We are definitely back. No, I played a tournament with them just before this patch, got revealed and all of that. So I'm gonna say that they had some flavor beforehand. I think they have good damage output. They are one of the very few teams that look at the new monsters and say, yeah, I can kill them. And if we put Blades of Khaine that high, I'd say, yeah, they have playing to Blades of Khaine. They do not like teams like Brute Brothers or Inquisition. Against Fellgore or Cults, we are somewhat dependent on whether we're playing open or towards / the dark. But overall, I'm going to put them in A tier. And if you put them anywhere lower, I'm sorry, guys, you're just wrong.
So you think they're in A at the top of A? At the
No. Like, let's at the top of A. I would probably put them below Fellgore. Yeah. But I would still say that they're somewhere there.
All right, Dan. Do you have any sanity? Where's where's these guys?
Sanity.
Only thing I remember about playing this team is going pew 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 with the beamer. That's the main draw to it, surely. But no, I also agree with Bart. I feel like they have actually really good play into Deathwatch and Canoptek, because stacking the grudges will give you that damage output to get it done. And you can threaten the reanimator with the D3 mortals, maybe. I don't know. I think probably I would say they're better than Brood Brothers, but not quite as good as Blades of Khaine. So I ate it.
Oh, you think they're higher? You think they're up here? Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
So I think.
Come on, Ryan. I'm ready to disconnect from this call.
So if you ask me,
Rage quit.
if you ask me pre-balanced data slate where I thought they were, I would say they'd be like this, right? Like I thought they were okay. They have some really good elite matchups. Now, with all the buffs they just got, like I'm like, I think they're I think they're bottom of A. Like I think absolutely what you said. Like the way the grudge tokens interact with essentially dominate means that so many seek and destroy elite teams like hate playing against these guys, because it's like, oh, you're killing my guys, that's great. Now you're like super vulnerable to just dying. They crit spam like exceptionally well, which gets around loads of people's defenses. Aegis and that sort of stuff does not like crit spam, and I just think they're really good. I think they're really good in killing all of those models. I do think though they're exceptionally hard to play. Because 5-inch movement is punishing, so you have to have a game plan. Like you cannot play this team like reactively in a sense of, oh, I'm just going to turn up to the table and just like move some models around and see what happens. Like no, you need to be thinking, I'm going to move this model here because in 2 turns time he needs to do this. Like otherwise you don't have the movement potential to necessarily achieve it. That has been buffed though by the ability to do the comms anywhere, so maybe that's going to be the change for this team, because like on ITD, like you see where the comms is, and I know they have the free shoot or fight, but like if they need to reach an objective, then they couldn't necessarily do that before. But now they can do it anywhere. So I think
that comms buff is the most important thing that they got out of this this patch. Not the dozer thing, it's the comms buff.
I think it's huge, and like the weird side grade that the leader got as well. I don't know if that's good or bad, but
it's just that the GW decided, oh, we can't just buff them. We nerfed them 3 times in a row for no reason, so we can't just buff them to prove all the people that played this game that we were wrong. We're just gonna, adjust them. And but they do have one. Let's not call it a downside, but there is something about this team that's much worse than it used to be. In the previous season, this team absolutely loved playing plant beacons. This season, I mostly play retrieval, and retrieval is much more difficult to max. So you can typically get around 4. The 5th point is often difficult, and yeah, so that's a huge difference, because you have to plan around potentially scoring 2 points less on tack up. So that's that.
It does feel like the combo of Jam and Dozer to knock somebody out into the open to give you the time to down them against like Raveners or Deathwatch or Canoptek seems pretty huge.
Yeah, I can see that. I think the only reason why they're not higher, in my opinion, by the way, is just some of the matchups. Like I think
I see that.
Yeah,
Inquisition's really tough.
Inquisition's tough. Being able to turn off like the various buffs when you need to turn them off, or say no to a move dash shoot thing is gross. But I think they can do both security and recon okay. As you said, not easy to max, but you can still play a good game. Okay, so the other dwarf team, which is clearly going to be better, right, because it's released later on, is going to be the Hernkyn Yaegirs. Are we leading with Dan again, Bart? You got so excited you jumped straight in the beginning of that one.
No.
Is it
because we started talking about dwarves, I'm gonna at least take this one, and then when it comes down to Hierotek, like we can just shut up for a few minutes and let Dan cry about Hierotek. When it comes to Yaegirs, I don't really rate them that high. I think they will still struggle to score tack ops. They're a slow team, so they suffer from the same downsides movement-wise as the other dwarves. Yes, they get that 4 inches movement, turning point 1, but apart from that, they're still fairly slow because you're not gonna realistically use that movement just to throw your entire team forward to balance out your lower movement statistic later on. So there's that. And most importantly, they do not have the same level of damage output as the other dwarf team, and in general, they will struggle to kill those tankiest operatives in the game these days. So, for that reason, I'm gonna put them in. I'm gonna put them in top of D tier. I don't think they're good.
Okay, Dan, where you at?
Yeah, I put them bottom of C tier. I mean, they do sort of struggle to score points and win the game. Like, they're durable, they're all right at killy, but similarly, it's tough into hardy save models. But like, they're not that great at tac op still. They're not that great at crit op, so you can do well and keep a game close, but to win the game, that still seems pretty tricky.
So you had them here. I actually had them at the top of C, but we'll average it out and put at the bottom. Similar sort of stuff to what you guys have said. I think they can score, like, it's better for them now. Like, it was a lot worse in the last TAC Ops, but now they can get like Steel Intelligence, stuff like that. And the ability to get more APL across the board is useful, and they can now fall back from people, which before was the gross thing. If you just charge them with a model and they just then couldn't do anything. Whereas now they can avoid that. So they've got a bit of counterplay there. Bottom of C seems to be the average out of where we're at. Hierotek Circle, we'll just skip this one, right?
I love to, man. What the hell?
Go for it, Dan.
Now, I don't really understand why anyone would hate this team. What about their history has like been oppressive, mean, maybe toxic mechanics? Yeah, I mean, yeah. I was planning to take them to Worlds because I was like, man, Canoptek seem really unbeatable. I know. Let me use Hierotek to take them down, but I think they got really shafted. Like, there's still some strong bones to the team, but that kill-op change feels really harsh because it feels like you are playing the game intuitively down a lot of points. So, yeah. For that reason, I would say like top of D tier. I mean, if only there was some really strong Necron team that I could change to and play instead.
Top of D? Oh, what, you think they're worse than Angels of Death?
Probably.
Oof, wow, what a fall from grace. But where are you at with this team?
I know that we heard Dan speaking about what he thinks about the team, and we could also hear all the tears falling on the floor on his end. I'm gonna say I think
here, guys.
they're definitely like the cool thing about this patch is that now they're not actually toxic to play against, so that's actually fun. That's actually quite good. They got hit really hard, but I think that they do have certain mechanics which allow them to illegally break the rules of the game in a very nasty manner, and for that I'm going to put them in the bottom of B.
Bottom of B, so D to B. So I guess I'm going to have to average this one out again. So if you ask me, but pre-balanced data slate, they were like this, right? They were top of S, no doubt. And
yeah,
then,
top of S. So
yeah, sorry, yeah, like somewhere in here. But anyway, now I think I would go C. No, I'll go B. I think bottom of B. I think bottom of B is fair. They still they hit well. They got another thing that we haven't touched on for these guys is the smoke grenade nerf. These guys love that. Like, they got so much AP1 across the P1 across the board. They love the fact that the smoke grenades now don't matter. So they just blast through it, which is cool. I think they have though got a week across the board. Is it from here to here, or is it to C? To average it out, I think top of C is probably where they end up, because Dan reckons they're down here. We both reckon they're here. I think
I am just a bit upset they didn't make the other Cryptex playable. That would make the team really cool, but it's still just Chronomancer.
So we're very sorry that you had the best team for like 9 or 10 months, and now they have no other compensation buffs.
It's dynastic succession. I'll just have to play the other very strong Necrons instead.
I mean, we're all happy though that they're down here though, right? Like no one's that sad. No. Also, you made a joke earlier that they still have some strong bones. It's like metal bones, right? But I noticed it, so I just wanted to highlight it for those that were slow. Hunter Clade.
Yeah.
Hunter Clade.
Hunter Clade.
Who's taking this one?
I'm gonna take it, and I'm gonna say they're an interesting 10-man team as well. They do have a lot of tricks that buff the durability. They do have a fair amount of damage output as well, which is great. What I dislike about the team is a bit of honesty, as in like they are a move and shoot or charge and fight team that doesn't do much apart from that, in my opinion. And I dislike the fact that if you've got too many big bases, and on top of that you've got some small bases as well to squeeze in, you might struggle to position properly. So overall I'm going to put them in I'd say bottom B.
Bottom of B? Dan, where we at? What's your opinion?
I'd put them top of B. I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on this team. They do have some insane durability. Like switching off rerolls, damage reduction, minimum of 2. They've got, reducing attack dice, make you count as injured. Probably not all of that at once. However, I do just feel like they are going to be really hard to put down. And in that sense, they'll be quite strong, because they're like a slower version of what Sanctifiers were. However, yeah, probably against those teams with a lot of chicanery going on, like Canoptek or Blades of Khaine or something, you might just be outmaneuvered.
Yeah, so I think, I think they're top of B. I think they can do some crazy stuff. Like if you set it up properly, I mean, you talk about durability; they are durable as hell. They can be fast. Like the Ruststalkers can be fast. Move 7, ignore 2 inches for climb. Sorry, or is it
dual activate?
Yeah,
they have one of the few remaining dual activates in the game.
Yeah, and they nerfed it, so it can't be 2 Sicarians, but it can still be 2 impactful models. They have access to decent shooting. They hit on 3s, as I said, so they're reliable. They've got 10 models. Like I think they're okay, and they're Seek and Destroy and Recon, which.
And they can heal and ignore piercing.
They can ignore piercing. So I think I'm going to go top of B. If we average it out, so if we all agree that they're in B, against these other teams in B, where do we think they sit? Do we think they're better than Goremongers? I vote that they're here.
I would put them between. I would actually put them between Corsairs and Exaction.
You think here, and then Dan. Final.
I don't know. It kind of feels like we're looking at Exaction, Goremongers, and Hunter Clade, which are all very durable teams, right? Yeah, hard to rate between them, but that seems right between Corsairs and Exaction.
Sweet.
Doesn't matter. They are on their way out. Let's just move on.
Breaches. I just got to be you, Dan, right? Go on.
Okay, so Breaches are also another very durable team. Like a bunch of 8 wounds, damage reduction, might reroll defense dice, and the skull's pretty good, stunning people, etc., etc. They just aren't that killy though. Like you have a melter, which is something that Exaction do not. But yeah, I don't really enjoy the team's play style right now because it feels super defensive. They're probably pretty good with the new TAC ops, like Envoy to whiz the cat up or whatever, if you're allowed to do that, and that kind of thing.
Or the skull?
Martyrs, I don't
What a
know.
ridiculous thing.
Clan Banner, they're probably really good with, just like bunkering down near that midpoint they're holding, push down a flank. But yeah, I feel like they lack the damage output of some of the top teams of B tier, so I would say top of C.
Bart, do you want to go next?
I'm gonna summarize this team in 3 words: boring, boring, boring. They don't do anything exciting apart from that skull. So you can see your breacher opponent getting hyped up and excited when they deploy the skull model and the operator, and like, oh yeah, cool. So how does it work exactly? Okay, this is how it works. And if you play around it or if you survive it, then there's not much they can do apart from that. Everything is super telegraphed, and I have never rated this team, and I never believed in them, and for that reason, I have to stick to what I have been saying all the time. They are in D tier. Thank you very much.
D tier? Above Krew?
Yes.
Or right at the bottom?
Yes. Yeah. Let's have them above Krew. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well,
It's of course just my opinion, but I'm
No.
the third guy here, so I'm right.
I was going to put them in the bottom of C. The reason being is as we said, like their durability mechanic is their main thing, but now there's elite teams out there that will just slap through that anyway. And this team does not like killing elites. Like, it has the melter gun.
Those 3 shotguns, not getting it done.
It's just not a thing. It's just not a thing, right? And it's like even in melee, they're 3 attacks. It's not a thing. Like the melter gun maybe kills a guy, but now against a lot of these teams, probably doesn't even kill a guy. And at that point,
counteract and kill the melter gun. Yeah,
it's done. Like, the game is done. So I would have put them down here, but like, yeah, top of D, fine.
Have you seen those toys that resemble shotguns, but they shoot like sponge shells?
Nerf
like
guns.
Kids shoot at each other. Yeah, this is what they're amped with. This is exactly what they have. Pew pew pew. Oh, I didn't do anything. Boring.
Boring.
To all the breaches lovers, but yeah.
All right, next up.
Get the hell off my channel or Ryan's channel. I don't know.
Get off our channel. Inquisition. Should I take Inquisition? Sure, let's do that.
You're the Inquisition player.
Yeah. So I haven't played them in a little while because elites are hard in the brain, and I'm a smooth brain kind of player. Sorry, hordes, not elites. I'm just playing into the smooth brain. Anyway, Inquisition are still one of the best teams in the game, I think. But they are difficult to play. But they like playing against elites. They like being able to stack all their abilities. The quarry works well for them. Like the piercing tube, like buffs across the board. So the way that like now various things interact with piercing tubes, like it's just better for them. They, I think, are really good, and I'm not going to do too much more and just say that they should be an A tier. I think they are above Blades of Khaine based on the current meta. Although I think Blades of Khaine beat them, but I think they do better into the rest of the meta than Blades of Khaine.
Hey, you wanted to put Blades of Khaine in S tier.
That's true.
And now these guys are better. Like, okay.
Well,
yeah,
or maybe
No. There are only 2 S tier teams, and we already filled those slots. So.
There could be more.
Yeah.
I mean, I think genuinely, like, I would not be sad to see them there. Like, I think they could be there, in my opinion. Like,
I see it.
I think with the right player, playing Inquisition, I think they could exist in S tier. I just think that if you're playing 7 games of them, that you get to the end of the 7 games, your brain is mush, and you're like, oh my god, what is going on? And they have some reliability issues.
Speaking of the right player to play him, I spoke to Mateusz recently, and he says that he cannot stand the matchup of Inquisition into elites into the Dark or Tomb World these days. And it's seriously putting him off playing hordes that he likes to play these days. So there's that. I'm going to personally put them in A tier. I think they should sit right next to Brew Brothers. I think they're a very strong team, very flexible. they do have the right tools, with still one of the most powerful ploys in the game being the Absolute Authority. Just being allowed to say no to the friend, you're not going to play it now. It's extremely important. There are so many things that rely on ploys being played at the right time. Yeah, I think they're good. They're flexible. They have access to all the backups, which is absolutely great. Yeah, they will play crit up well as well. Yeah, that's what I think about them. They are everything that breaches would like to be, so they're not boring. Dan, are you still with us?
Yeah, I should probably force my dad to keep playing this team.
Oh, you should, definitely.
I think you can see why people say Inquisition has like the highest skill ceiling of any team. I have access to every TAC-op, crazy roster building, taking like half of another team, and actually the Inquisition operatives, you know. Maybe this is an Enlightener matchup, maybe this is when you take the Hex Assist to switch off Expendable or something funny like that. Maybe this is one where you bring, I don't know, the little scroll guy. I don't know if there's any way you take him, but it's that kind of thing. And I feel like the ploys Inquisition have, you have like a lot of really good situational ones, and knowing when to play them, knowing your opponent's game plan and how to outplay them, gives them that incredible potential. They are really hard to pilot, but they maybe have one of the highest potential of any teams in the game, and I think I would put them just below Blades of Khaine, in towards the top of A tier.
Boom.
By the way, it would be really cool if at the rotation they would update Inquisitorial Agents and allow them to take the requisitioned operatives from Rattlings and Sanctifiers and Aquilons, because Vedguard is rotating out.
Boom. Yes.
That'd be fun.
Give it to us,
Now you get
GW.
Inquisition with Augurs. Ogrins, yeah?
Or like legacy operatives, you know, they get access to all the ones that have declassified. That'd be funny.
Hear me out, right? It's the Heretica Order, the Orders, the Xenos thing, wherever those are, the ones that kill the aliens. And they just get 2 or 3 Deathwatch. Just like 2 or 3. Just like, I don't know, like just.
You know what would be really cool? Maybe if there was like a team that was that, but then without the Inquisition half.
And you get like an extra 3 of those guys. Oh yeah. I mean, I'd go nuts for that. Anyway, let's move on. Kasrkin. I guess this is on me, right?
That was your hour-long segment.
On my soapbox. Okay, so
I playable guys. Come on.
I want this team to be good. I genuinely think the buffs are useful. Like, I think they have significantly increased.
Really? We wouldn't know that.
But I think that it's not enough. Like, I think they are still going to absolutely hate playing against Goremongers. I think they're going to hate playing against Blades of Khaine. I don't think they have enough damage potential to kill Canoptek Circle. Like, loads of these teams are problematic for them. And so I am struggling to put them anywhere other than D&E. And I think they might be E tier. And I don't know if they're better than Deathcore. which is, yeah. Do they just sit at the bottom of E? Like, I think I'm going to put bottom of E. Maybe I'm being too harsh. I mean, you guys... Maybe you guys can tell me that I'm being too harsh on this team, but I think they might be one of the worst teams in the game still.
You're gonna look real silly when they win Worlds, right?
I'm gonna cheer you up, Ryan, because I'm gonna say they are the absolutely worst team in this game. Don't play them. Just forget about them. And especially you, Ryan. And yeah, just don't. Just like play some other teams. Like paint them black and put some green stuff on them. Put them on the bigger bases and say they are Deathwatch now. Yeah, just do that, and you're gonna get like 2 teams out of 1 box. So that's great. No, like jokes aside, I think they're really poor. I think that they're not well positioned in this meta game. They are a team that tries to be a mid-range without any melee capability that makes sense. Yeah, sorry, that's not enough.
Disagree.
Okay. I hear what you're saying, but I'm taking this team to the casual command point TTS tournament.
Congratulations, you playing this game
for 3 terrible
so
teams,
much
to be clear. But Yeah, I think Kasrkin, they have this idea of castling well and playing a precise game, and actually the firefight ploy of going first is really cool for doing that. You can even use it to like fast APL, have the comms guy buff someone, which is cool, or the melter guy. You blow someone away that's the only one who's threatening your models, etc., etc. But yeah, they still don't really have that pizzazz. They don't have the melee, they lack a lot of tools, and you just need to be so efficient and so precise that if you win a game with Kasrkin, it's because you were outplaying your opponent. And they got better. They got better from the dark pits of despair, and I'm not sure they're quite out of it yet. Time will tell, but they are probably still the worst team in the game. I think I have to agree with bottom of E tier.
There we go.
Yay! Hooray! Shall we move on?
Kommandos. Let's do it. He's a commando player. You used to play commandos, you got. You ever played?
I used to play Kommandos.
Years ago?
I'm gonna say that Kommandos, they got a buff, but this is a destruction buff for us not to pay attention to the fact that they managed to nerf all the other rotating teams into oblivion. So this is very much a distraction kind of effects thrown right at us. I don't believe that they're as strong anymore. They used to be super powerful because they were durable, but considering what are the durability standards these days, I don't see orcs running around with 21 wounds. Yeah, and Justice Scratch is cool, but what if the 21 wound model also has Justice Scratch and damage mitigation and free up save, so and can heal 4d3? Yeah, I just don't think that as good anymore. And even though they got that buff, how do they play TACOps? They got Infiltration and Seek and Destroy. 11 activations. I'm going to put them somewhere in, let's say, C? Bottom of C? I don't like them anymore.
Dan, what's your opinion?
Yeah, bottom of C sounds about right. So I hear, like, I think Shush is one of the best ploys in the game. The push and pull of a dash ploy is really good to be able to, do some crazy stuff with threat ranges, but do they actually have that many incredible threats anymore? I don't know about that. So I just feel like, and they do struggle into elites, which not a great meta to be in. So yeah, I feel like Kommandos, there's some stuff they can do, but yeah, I don't know that they just do it that well. So I think bottom of C tier makes sense. I'd put them maybe above Jaegers, but
Above
I do
Jaegers.
agree with what you said about dashes. Dashes are cool to manage threat ranges, but Ratlings also have dashes, and yeah.
They have a lot
Well,
more
if you
dash
have
now.
dashes, but you don't have actual damage output or actual threats, that's an issue. Ryan?
I think they're top of D. I think they're top of D. I think they are I think
Bring them down. We have too many teams in C tier.
yeah.
I'll just quickly explain why. I think they don't score tackles very well. I don't think they like the changes.
They lost surveillance with the grot, yeah.
Yeah, they're not surveillance with the grot. So the new tackles are fine, but they're not good for them. I just think they struggle to kill elites, and the meta is so elite heavy at the moment. Not just that, but if they play against Blades of Khaine, it's power sword heavy. So against a lot of these teams, can you do 10 damage is a very easy answer for that team. They're reliant on just scratch, but only works against normals now, and therefore you get 2 crits and they're dead. And so, in my opinion, on Bart's point, they're just not durable enough, and I think they're top of D. Legionary. Where are we at with Legionary? Do you want me to go on this because it's a Marine team?
Yeah.
Go for it.
So I think they are better than Angels of Death, but not by much. And I think actually I think it's entirely map dependent. So on ITD and stuff, this team probably beats Angels of Death, and if you're playing Beta Decima or you're playing some of the open boards, they probably don't. So I think they sit right in the middle here, and I think they've just received nerf after nerf after nerf, and now they're at the point where I don't really know who they're good into, but I know that they can curb stomp Commandos pretty well. Like, I think there's certain teams that they like seeing, but like a lot of the other teams, I don't think they care too much about. So these two can flip around, in my opinion, depending on what map you're on. But I think they are in C tier. Is my Legionary summary. Let's go, Dan. What's your thoughts?
I think you're being quite harsh on them. I would say they're bottom of B tier.
Okay.
They do have some crazy damage output with their severe ceaseless melters and everything. They have received a fair amount of nerfs, and actually that Zeech one is pretty big, because I think trying to spam 4 APL and move dashing double shooting people was definitely something they did pretty well. They're probably actually pretty good into Deathwatch. They might be able to deal with Canoptek, just because of that pure damage output, and the double fight from any of your Octaves probably will bring a Doom Cooler down, even with Soul Drain. But yeah, they certainly are one of the more honest elite teams, and that will hold you back, because you will get wrecked by Salvagers or, Blades of Khaine, whatever it is that will be able to take you down with their strong damage. But I still believe in Legionaries. I just feel like they're perhaps a little more difficult to pilot these days.
What a crazy time we live in, where we can hear stuff like they will get wrecked by Salvagers, and Legionaries are the most honest elite team. But what I'm gonna say is that I would put them somewhere in B tier. The only reason they are there is because they do have a lot of potential for damage output. So I'm gonna agree with Dan on that. However, what I'm going to say is that if you're after Space Marine kill team wearing black, and you picked Legionaries, you've gone wrong, mate. Like if you made a mistake, you want the other guys wearing black. Yeah, you want the other guys wearing black.
Fair enough.
At least for now. And do these guys rotate out as well? I think they do, right?
Yeah.
They will be gone in like a few months, right?
Correct.
Which I think is a shame. I think Legionaries and Angels of Death should remain evergreen poster boy teams.
That's fine. We have Nemesis Claw, which haven't got a nerve, have they? Right?
They'll be fine. Okay, next up.
Mind if I take Mandrakes?
You absolutely can take Mandrakes.
Okay. So I think everybody is sleeping on this team. I know the Russian, or not everybody, but a lot of people. I think the Russians are quite high on them. And I asked Nick to feel why, and he gave me some good points, and I played into a strong Russian Mandrake player, etc. I'm getting sidetracked. I know Poland as well. But I do just think that Mandrakes play a really strong defensive game, where you charge them, they fight first. They're in smoke, they're on their vantages with super conceal, etc. And the game is now in a very interactive state, where in order to score TACOP, you need to push up to the halfway line, or interact with models that are like on engage or kill models or something, or run about onto your opponent's home objective. And if you do that against Mandrakes, they will try and punish you for it. And Mandrakes have some really good options with TACOP still. Flank, track enemy, even steal intelligence if you believe that they're going to start running at you. Retrieval, probably. I don't know. I'm sure there's various different ones Mandrakes are good at. They're probably actually not bad at scout enemy movement.
You love scout.
Wild statement. I'm sure you don't believe me, but I believe in Mandrakes very much so now. I think they probably can deal with the two new teams quite well. They have a really tough matchup into Raveners, in my opinion, but I think there's a lot of teams they do really well into. I think they're in a very strong spot, and I would put them above Chaos Cults. Middle of A tier.
Boom. Bart, what's your thoughts?
I hate that team, not in a way that I think that they are bad, but I hate them because they absolutely wreck my precious dwarves. But yeah, when it comes to the power, like I agree with a lot that Dan has said, and in a way, I can see them being well positioned into some of the teams that we have up there, or that we may have up there. Equally, I see them struggling against some other teams that we may have up there, like certain melee teams specifically that have good mobility. I would probably put them either at the very bottom of A or top of B. That being said, I haven't played a lot against them. I have never played as Mandrakes, so there you go. My opinion is definitely less relevant than yours.
So, having been absolutely humbled by Mandrakes very recently, like I think, I think this team is good. Like, I think part of it is like as you guys said, like they're not that popular. I don't think many people know how to play them very well. But when you play against like good players with them, like holy, like the last activation or whenever you're finished activating, just teleporting a Mandrake behind you, who's then ready to blast into your back lines at the start of the next turning point, is gross. Combine that with the fact that they can have like a 12-inch ignoring terrain charge is bonkers. Like, to be honest, just like the threat range on that is insane. Which means that you think you're safe and you're not safe. Like pretty much the whole time that you're playing against Mandrakes, as soon as you're out of your deployment zone, you're killable. And from turning point 2 onwards, it's gross. Agree with your points on tac ops, and you can actually do a pretty good job. Yeah, like I think they're good. I think they're good. Would I put them? I think I put them. Into this meta. Are they like? For instance, I think they absolutely donk on Hearthkyn Salvagers. I think it's disgusting. It's not fair. I think we're against Fellgore. They're probably better than Fellgore. But like that's an interesting matchup. And then against Chaos Cults, I'm not too sure because Chaos Cults can kind of shut them down with the sense that the guys you're charging are just dudes they don't care about, and then they'll kill you afterwards. So I think they're probably just below Chaos Cults is where I think they sit in that better because they don't like I don't think they like hordes that much because you can screen them out if you have enough models. But you have to be thinking about it. But you can screen them out. I think they're there.
Amadeus scares me, and not just because I think Polish guys are weird. But...
Polish guys are weird. I was just there. Like,
Cheers.
No, we're not. Factually incorrect. Okay, are we happy with this? I think we are. Yeah. Nemclaw. Go on, I'll do it because it's a Marine team, and I love Marines. They get kicked straight in the nats, didn't they? Like straight in the nats. Like I did not see this nerf coming. I thought they were like an A tier team, but like maybe like bottom of A tier. They had a really good matchup into Deathwatch, in my opinion. I thought they were great into them. I was always pretty scared. Like, there was a few teams I was scared about seeing across the table. Nemesis Claw was one of them. And they just took that like ability for Vox Scream and just said like throw it in the bin. And like sure it's nice that it doesn't cost you 2 CP anymore, but I can guarantee you if you're about to get a kill with your melter gun, or you're going to like not have one of your Marines die from a Vox Scream, it's worth that CP, and you would spend it every single time. And now the fact that it needs to be A, visible, so it has counterplay, and B, on a 4-up against other Marine teams is huge. So I think that's a really like bad set of nerfs for Vox Scream. I don't think it's the end of the world for the team. I still think they're good, but I think like that core mechanic of Vox Scream has hurt them in certain matchups where it was really pretty important. So now I think they are, I would suggest, top of B or bottom of A. I think they were in A somewhere before. I think now they sit in top of B. Is my 2 cents. Who wants to tell me I'm wrong?
You're wrong.
It was always going to be bad.
You're wrong. You're wrong. I mean, I agree with that. They got absolutely trashed with that one tiny change. I think it would have been better if Vox Scream was a concern. Then it could have been changed to 2 command points always as a flat cost, and I think it would have been okay. It would be nice to have another Marine team that is a real threat to Deathwatch and can play a decent game into them and be favoured into them. But no, we have to stick to the rule that Marines wearing black are better than Marines wearing blue, so I'm going to put them at the bottom of B.
Bottom of B. Below Legionary. Interesting.
Yes.
Dan, where we at?
So firstly, bit of a weird thing about Vox Scream. Why is it equally effective right across the board as like right next to a guy? Like, surely just within 6 would have made more sense, and then make it guaranteed or something. It is a bit weird, and I think despite only really touching one part of the team, Vox Scream was an essential part of their toolkit. And they really hurt because you can't do it reliably now, and I think that sucks because you were able to have this plan of like, right, I'll move up here, and then that operative won't activate. Like, I know that, and now the fact that you can crumble because of it really hurts. But Nemesis Claw, I think the Hug Claw team is still really, really scary. The fact that they like can trap you in melee, and then they're the best melee team in the game is, potentially really, like, as in they have the best melee in the game, the best melee team is, I think makes them really good. I think they probably can take down Canoptek. I've heard they're pretty good into Deathwatch, and I can imagine they still probably are. So I think that definitely helps them a lot. But they do have certain tough matchups, and I don't think they're, of course, as good as Deathwatch. But I would say like top of B tier, above Goremongers, in my opinion.
So we've got 2 for top, 1 for bottom. Averages out somewhere like here,
Sure.
I think.
No, I'm happy to concede this one. Like, both of you want them at the very top of the B, so yeah.
Okay, we'll go top of B because I think this is gross for them. Okay, well, we have no novitiate specialists, so we might as well just put them in E and move on, right? Is that everyone happy with that?
Where do you want to put them?
E, obviously E, right?
E, fine. Put them in E. No, like, in all
I know they did
seriousness,
pretty well
I
at
think
WTC, but
Yeah. Some
I
mentalists
think
took them. I don't know why.
many people have underestimated this team for a very, very long time. I think that they do way more than you would initially say, and they're definitely better than people think they were. Especially so, last edition they were completely different, and they got reworked and were absolutely toxic, and then they got nerfed, and the community forgot about them. But I think that there was a lot to them, and they do have certain mechanics which are still very difficult to overcome for many teams that are way tougher than they appear to be at face value. So there's that. However, I think they will have some pretty nasty matchups looking at our S tier and certain teams from A tier. And for that reason, I would probably put them somewhere in B. I'm not entirely convinced where, but I want to have them somewhere in B. I would probably put them below. Yeah, below Exaction. I would put them there.
Sweet. Dan, any advances?
sounds about right to me. I feel like Bart's just really good with them. I don't know. The dice modification they have is certainly really good. They have one of those busted dash ploys. They do sort of have a command point problem, but then blinding aura is super, super good. Yeah, I think they have some really good tools. You just have to know how to use the tools really well. So middle of B tier seems right.
My only advance is I would have put them below Clade because I think Clade have more durability in this team. Like, you talk about turning off rerolls, damage reduction, all that sort of stuff, and Clade's better into elites. So in the current meta, I think Clade's better than the Novitiates. I know you get the punishing and piercing one and stuff, but I just think Clade has a bit more oomph. But I'm much less with this. Like, it's I think just this they have a situationally better matchup based on what we have at the moment.
I can see that. I'm happy for you to swap that as well. Like,
there we go. I always get my way in the end. Cool. No, I'm joking. Let's move on to Pathfinders because someone needs to roll a 4-up save to see if they are allowed to go to schools again. Shall I take this one?
Yeah.
Just go for it.
Just put them straight in E. I just think that they like. I was thinking about this for a while. Like they have some really hard hitting guns and they can do quite a lot of stuff really well, and they love fighting the elites. But for some reason, it just doesn't seem to work. And the way that their Marklights seem to stack now just seems to be that they are struggling to get enough going. And then they have just some really awful matchups in like Goremongers, Fellgore, Chaos Cults. I think Mandrakes can do some work on them. Nemesis Claw Hug Team is gross for them. So they just like Blades of Khaine, great as well. I just think it's kind of suck a little bit. And like there's a theme here with like mono-dimension teams. I just think don't do very well. And their tack-ups now, I think personally are worse than they were before, because like retrieval and something like that is actually pretty difficult for them to score. Scouting movements, like sure, but then you're giving up your advantage on the initiative, and I don't know. Like I just don't know what else they could do. I mean, like they got steal intelligence maybe with infiltration. I don't know. E is my opinion. What do you guys think? Let's go with Dan.
Middle of D. I mean, they lost the grav drone nonsense. Probably not for the not for the worst, but yeah, I think their guns are still fairly solid. Those gunners are still really good, but yeah, if you whiff your shoot into melee, you are probably game over. They do have some tough matchups, but I don't think they're as bad as Death Corps or Kasrkin, because I think there is a better skill expression in the team.
But
E, and let's move on. Like
where they are now?
Time of no E.
Oh,
E. Down. Yeah. E.
Cool.
Time of Pathfinders is long gone. Like, forget about them. There are so many melee teams that just don't die in one round of shooting when they approach them, and then they just wreck them. Like, just don't play tower. Just keep your fingers crossed and everything you can. Buy some lack charms that the new stealth suit team will be better. Yeah, there's that. That's all I'm gonna say.
Nice. We're into Phobos then. An unreliable team, but I do think they like the new tack ops. I think they like the fact that they can play an even more cagey game with retrieval than they played before, which means you can roll less dice and try and save some of your CP for it towards the end. I'm like 50-50 on between them and Nemesis Claw as to where they sit. I think with the changes to Vox Scream, maybe they're better than Nemesis Claw, but I'm not convinced on that. So I think they probably sit just below Nemclaw in B. Although, like, I think they have a really strong game into a lot of teams. I just think they just struggle into certain matchups. Like Fellgore, they struggle into Chaos Cult. They don't like that much. This one is like the Canoptek Circle matchup is I'm not really too sure how you ever kill one of those big bugs. So I think they just got a few bad matchups at the top of the meta, but they can play retrieval so well. Free mission action and terror. They just own objectives. Like, Reavers are really strong in this new Critop pack. So I think they're probably top of B, just below Nemclaw. I mean, these two I'm happy to switch around. Dan.
I'd say bottom of B. I do think they're somewhat outclassed by Deathwatch, who do also have a jammer and ignore obscuring and smoke grenades. The smoke grenades nerf does hurt Phobos. I've not played them since the new approved ops, but my general thoughts are that they have probably lost a bit of what makes them special in being a toolbox elite. So I don't know, I just feel like generally raw stats are more impactful in the current meta than some of the tricks that Phobos have.
But
I was about to say somewhere in the middle of C, and the reason for that is that they used to be cool, yes, and then they used to be that Swiss Army knife Space Marine team, but they lack damage output, they lack consistency, they lack durability in comparison to other elite teams, and just in relation to the wider top of the meta. So I would have them somewhere in C, but you said bottom of B, Ryan, you said top of B, so I guess we can keep them at the very bottom of B.
Sounds good to me. and then we'll move and roll straight into Plague Marines, which is a team that you said you're definitely going to be playing, Bart. You've got them ready to go, right?
Well, I do have them on my shelf, and I gave them some thought recently, and I actually think that they're better than I initially would place them. So no, I actually think that there's something to them. They will have certain tools into top teams. They do like new tac ops in a way. They plant banner, hold that banner really well. They're still very durable. And the reason why I'm a bit on the fence with them is that if I look at the meta game, there are certain teams into which they'll be like, oh yeah, I can do a lot here. And there will be other teams where you'll be like, okay, my opponent's just going to run laps around me and I can't do much about it. So for that reason, I would put them somewhere close to Claw, but probably below them.
Dan?
I don't know. I still feel like they lack the tricks, and the loss of how strong Contagion was felt like it really hurt them. I would put them below Phobos at the bottom of B tier. I don't know. I've never been that high on the team. I feel like your opponent does get a lot of shots in. You're very durable, so you're not going to get steamrolled off the table, but I think you're going to be pushed backwards to the point where you probably won't win the game.
So I personally think they sit in the middle of B, and I'm going to put them just below Hunterclade because I think these guys mess them up. But the reason why I think they sit here is similar to what you guys have said. I think the new tack-ups are good for them. Like I actually think like Dominate, being able to score late, plant banner, and just be able, if there's a good location for it, you can just castle up and force people in. Is really good for them, and they are still a durable team to deal with. So I think they sit in the middle. Noted that they have some bad matchups in the top of the meta. All right, let's move on into Rattlings. You're short, Bart. Let's go with them.
That was mean.
I had to do it somehow. I don't know. Like
You're short, Bart. So okay. But I have been historically climbing tournament tables, so I guess that's fair. Anyway, I just don't think these are the short kings you're looking for. I think that they still lack both durability and I would say visibility, because maybe if they were a bit taller, then maybe you could stage it a bit better and do generate the damage that's necessary to win the game, to push it towards like your favor. But I just don't think they've got it. So I would put them somewhere probably bottom of C or top of D.
Okay, and let's go with Dan. Your opinions?
I don't know. I'm quite high on them now, actually. I feel like, similarly to Mandrakes, such a defensive team with the changes to tac ops mean that they can't just plant beacons. They now do have to try and come at you. And if they put their plant banner down, you can larcenous and poach it away from them, which could be pretty funny. Definitely Scarpa gives them that better board presence, but I just feel like, and Kritok being different as well. Also, they've had a bunch of buffs. I believe in Rattlings. I would say definitely top of C tier, at least, I feel.
Top of D, top of C. Oh, it's going to me. I'm pretty high on Rattlings at the moment. I think they're actually pretty cool. So I think so before these buffs, I would have said they are probably like bottom of D. But now with the buffs, being able to scarp it all the time is like really cool. They have way more reliability than they did before, and the sneak operative is way better and does more damage. They have like the dev wound damage to be able to get through Deathwatch really effectively. And that's like something that I think people like forget about. But like being able to apply lethal 5 and just spam out.
And silent guns a lot, probably pretty handy.
Yeah, and then also just being able to With the Raider, just to take objectives and deny it from people without any sort of interaction is huge. So they can play like some of the missions really well now. So I think I was going to put them in like B tier. So I guess to average it out, top of C probably is fair. But yeah, I think this team is way better than they were. They like the attack ops. Like the Raider being able to interact on Into the Dark now is a really big buff, and just gives you like a 12-inch move and then just take an objective from someone. Like that's huge. Like that's nuts. So I really like them. If I was to place them, I would have put them like probably above Exaction Squad in B tier, below Goremongers, below Nemclaw, and that's where I would have placed them. But averaging out to the council, top of C. That sounds good. Raveners. Ooh, who wants to jump in on Raveners? This is gonna be an interesting one.
I've played a fair bit of Raveners.
Go for it.
So the nerfs they had, right out of sight, does bring their threat range down a lot, which is the bigger of the two nerfs. And the other one, they get a lot less command points, and you'll probably only really roll it like turn 1 and maybe turn 2. But yeah, I do still feel like Raveners are a problem for a lot of teams, and that they're an ambush melee team. And like, if you don't have that melee potential, if you don't have shoot into melee or fullback shenanigans, they are going to hit you hard, and it's going to hurt. And also, they're pretty good into other melee teams. You know, fight first, all these strong bodies. They got healing and that kind of thing. So I think Raveners are pretty strong. I would say, again, I know Russia are quite big on them. Probably they're about as good as Chaos Cults. Probably slightly better, I would say.
Up in mid A. Okay. Bart, opinions?
I think they lost quite a bit with the change of Rive into sight, which now is actually Rive out of sight. I think they lost a lot. And if people don't understand the difference between 7 and 9 inches, that's a big difference. All I'm going to say is that they messed up with the threat ranges of that team. And this team is a melee team that leans heavily on the threat ranges that they can put on a table, and they can project. So for that reason, as much as I agree with most of what Dan said, I'm gonna put them probably bottom of A, or maybe even top of B. So there's that. So yeah, I would put them probably bottom of A.
So if you ask me pre this data slate where I thought Raveners would be, I actually would have put them in S. So I thought they were like an S tier team. Now with Rise into sight gone, I think they are bottom of A. And the exactly what you said there on threat ranges, 100% agree. The other thing that would Rise into sight let you do is objective control really effectively. So playing against a really good Spanish player with Raveners, and essentially just using that 1 CP to, in the strat phase, appear the prime on your opponent's objective or your objective, wherever you need it to be 4 APL control for like loot missions or something like this, and then be able to then just take it and disappear underground. You have 1 activation to be able to kill a prime with probably no rerolls. They probably get like ceaseless defense saves, all that sort of stuff, and they like you're not doing it right. And that meant that they could just play the crit up on certain missions so well. Don't get me wrong, on certain missions and certain maps, they felt like they were D tier. So I don't know, like, if Beta Decima is in there, do we think that they're still A? I think maybe they're a bit lower than A. But assuming that the WCW doesn't have Beta Decima, I think they're.
You tunnel through the hazardous areas there.
Yeah, sure. But like
that sounds pretty funny.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like, and then you pop out the tunnel, and like there's a guy on advantage, and you go, oh, I wish I could charge you, but you're too high. Like it's like just stay there whilst I come get you in a second. Like, and with 5 models you can't do that. So I agree with everything you said. If they didn't get nerfed in this one, I actually think they would have been S tier. On certain maps and missions, on others maybe not. Let's roll on to the Sanctifiers, which we're all happy to receive a barrage of nerfs, I'm sure. We probably should have
I'm actually not, because I have them undercoated. I have them converted into a Gene Stealer cult. I have them undercoated, ready to be painted, and now they're just gonna stay on the shelf because I don't want to paint them anymore. So I'm not that happy. I think I am happy that they got hit. I just think they got hit a bit too hard. However, I would say that they are still a valid choice. It's just that all of a sudden, playing Sanctifiers got a lot more difficult. So it's not like, oh, I'm just gonna put my model there and it's not gonna die. It's not like that anymore. Like these days, like now you have to actually think and plan and treat them as if you had any other model that can actually die. So there's that. But extra mobility with that Pope, that's still good. Sermon in general, it's still good. The fact that they do have purity seals on a horde team, that's still good. And they do have a few nice weapons, and the miraculous living twice, that's still good. I would, for all those reasons, despite those nerfs, I would put them probably somewhere in B tier, probably above Exaction Squad. I just think that they're way more difficult to pilot, but if you have them in the right hands, they're still decent.
Dan, where are we at?
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like they now serve quite a similar role to novitiates in that they are a fast, still actually very durable team with flamers and solid melee. So I feel like everything Bart said makes sense. They still have horrid tools like the Confessor, but obviously they're just not ridiculously stat checky anymore. I just think they still are very solid. So I would, and I think they like the new Tacox more probably. So probably I'd say they're just sort of slightly above novitiates.
So you think they're a little bit further down, so like here?
A little bit, yeah, somewhat like that.
So just to my understanding, right? The new sermon change, you have to be visible to the orator.
Yes.
Right? So the missionaries running up the flanks is now gone. Is my understanding, like unless they can see the orator. So
yeah,
like they've lost that sort of like board presence either side. I think that's where I think that's the way it works now. So I think is a huge nerf, because the way the missionaries used to interact on ITD just on their own, independently moving up on flanks, was huge. So I've been a little bit harsher. Like playing Phobos against old Sanctifiers was horrendous, and now they've lost the piercing, they've lost the damage reduction, they generate
you run
less
onto the
CP.
objective, you control it, and you just shoot the creature without damage reduction.
He just dies. Well, it's damage reduction of 4 or more now, right? So my bolt
but also creatures now lose it if you control the objective. So
yeah, so like I'm actually a little bit harsher. I think they'd be.
So Ryan, just before you say your piece about the placement, the lead the procession requires visibility. The sermon itself doesn't. So you can.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry, that's what I meant. The lead the procession movement buff, because that's how they'd moved before, right? Is when you lead the procession, they would get to move, but now they have to be visible to the orator to do the lead the procession, and they have to end visible as well. The missionaries.
Yeah,
so they always get the sermon buff. They always have the damage reduction, but they don't have the lead the procession.
I guess it depends what the thing says, because sermon, I guess they can still do that, but it depends whether they definitely have to start visible. Do they end visible?
I think they have to start visible, but they don't have to end visible.
So yeah, so it's
because it says if you do them in each other friendly sanctifier operative that's benefiting from the sermon and is visible to this operative or vice versa. Right. So they have to start visible, but which is a lot harder, but it doesn't mean it's impossible.
But it just means that like, if you're playing ITD and you had like a missionary in a separate room, before they would get the free movement, and now they don't get the free movement, which I think is quite impactful on that. So I would have put them personally at the sort of top of C, bottom of B. So I think actually where they end up in the middle of B seems to be an agreement between all of us. So Scout Squad then. I've played against Scout Squad, but not with them. Have you guys played games or no?
No, I have
Cool.
no idea what to
Why
say
with
about Scout
Scouts?
Squad. I have zero experience with or against Scouts.
So
They're just the ugliest version of Space Marines. So why would anyone want to bother?
I really like Scouts, man. Like, I want.
Maybe it's like, oh, I'm bringing the training cadets with me, like the guys who aren't quite ready for this shit yet.
Yeah, there is an element to that.
Yeah, and I'm bringing Deathwatch.
Yeah. It's like the progression of armor. You just reduce the amount of models and just get. No, the reason why I actually one of the reasons why I like them is because Deathwatch is security and seek and destroy, and these guys are infiltrate and recon. It just gives me a different playstyle. But they still have the same issues. So they do have some really cool stuff, which I think people are sleeping on a little bit, which is their ability to use trip mines to control objectives, which then means
APL shenanigans as well. Really good, yeah.
Yeah, so if you try and like go on the objectives with the trip mines on, then they get to kill you. And if you don't go on the objectives with trip mines on, they collect retrieval and or plant devices on turn 2. So like they have this like really nice interaction with that, and they have silent weapons, all that sort of stuff. All that being said, they still really struggle to kill a lot of the meta with the durability. Like Canoptek Circle is awful for them. Deathwatch is really bad for them. Yeah, etc. etc. They're not very killy. I personally think they are either top of D or bottom of C. I think they still lack the APL buffs that they need. So, like, if they could use the +1 APL each turning point, this team would probably be like B, maybe even A tier. But they're not, and therefore I think they are C, D tier.
Plus, they got the mysterious ploy as well.
Yeah, well, that has been revealed now, isn't it? So that's
Yeah.
D3 operatives.
Is changing operatives order in the strat phase that good? It is when you have to activate people, but
that one, no. Like, I don't think that one you care about. But the D3 movement is nice, and the fact that you now pay 1 CP a turning point for all your ambush is also nice. So
oh no, the fact it is D3 means you can't like set up 2 people in that spot of out of cover could dash back, because it's like, what if you roll a 1?
Yeah.
So actually, that does feel like a ploy where you really do want the reliability of like 2 or whatever.
Hot take from Ryan: all D3 rolls should just be 2. That's just my take. But anyway,
maybe it's just like all D6 rolls like a 4.
3.5, right?
3.5.
All right. So Dan, any advances on C?
Yeah, that seems about right. Maybe top of D to make the tiers look less squashed.
And then, but
Yeah, let's keep them there. Like, I have no experience with or against them, so I'm gonna lean on what you say.
Works for me. Aquilons then. As you must have experience with Aquilons, but
I mean, I played into them. I think that they are somewhat similar to Salvagers, but faster, with no melee, more mobility, and they put all of their eggs in one basket when it comes to their leader, because this is the only melee guy they have, which is also their comms.
They have the precursor.
yeah, they're knife man.
Yeah. I'm talking about real melee guys, like power weapon. Not like, oh, I've got a knife that's 3/4 for whatever. Like
3/4 ceaseless, lethal 5, double resolve. It's good at killing 8 wound guys, but not much else.
Can you look at S tier and tell me how many 8 wound guys that are relevant we have there? Like
the Warriors. The Warriors.
I said relevant. So yeah, but yeah, like all things considered, I would say that before the change to approved ops, I would say that they were definitely a better salvager team overall. These days, I would say that they're definitely worse. I dislike mid-range-ish teams that are too focused on shooting and have no melee capabilities, because this is actually really important. And yeah, overall, I would put them somewhere somewhere in B probably. Yeah, somewhere in B, and definitely not towards the top.
Here.
Maybe higher than Hunterclade, maybe higher than Exaction. Yeah, somewhere there. Yeah.
Dan.
Alexa's been doing pretty well with them, which is interesting. I think it's weird because when you look at the E tier teams, they have the same problems as the teams that we think are terrible. In some ways, but I just think they do have a bit more pizzazz and a bit more reliability. So I do think Aquilons, they are really strong. However, what are you going to do when I smash my Tomb Crawler into melee with Soul Drain? What are you going to do when you get chain snared in melee with a Nemesis Claw? You're going to lose, basically. But I do think in those cases, it's really tough. And then against a lot of other teams, Aquilons are really good. So I think they are solid. They just have some pretty bad matchups. So for that reason, I think they are probably top of A. Top of B. They're similar to Fellgores and Goremongers in that sense, I think.
Yeah, so my 2 cents is I think the error denial they have makes them great for retrieval because they can basically just throw a warrior out and collect it.
Because of the out activation.
Yeah, I think flank might be a trap for them because flank just means you have to throw more models forwards, which they don't need to do.
Okay.
So I mean, this is just my personal experience. When I play against them with Deathwatch, when I see someone take flank, I'm like, brilliant, bring me guys to the grinder, and I'll kill you.
One guy on the halfway line, because if they're in your half, you'll drop in and shoot them, right?
Yeah, but
one on each flank.
Yeah, one on each flank. So they give you 2 on at the end of turning point 2. So then you have 2 kills at the beginning of turning point 3. And conversely, if they play retrieval, they give you 1 warrior who is going to basically appear on your home objective, collect it, and if you don't kill him straight away, just legs it away, being like, "Oh, I got your points."
You could play flank in a way that you just plan to drop a point. You just get basically a guaranteed 5.
Yeah, you could, but then I think you're losing your advantage as Aquilons, right? Because that's the thing. I agree with you. I think flank is a good option for them. I just think retrieval is better a lot of the time.
Makes sense.
It plays similar to how scouts do it. They just basically move a token to within your objective range and go I dare you to put someone on it because all the melter bombs are going to turn up. So anyway, I think they're bottom of A. So top of B, but bottom of A in the middle here kind of makes sense because the Nemclaw matchup is if Nemclaw move forwards, they just delete the model that move forwards because they can't counteract charge unless they're engaged, and if they're on engaged, you're just dropping outside of their charge range anyway. So they just get pushed back, can't score on turn 2, and at that point, as I said, they've probably scored 3 VP on turning point 2 from retrieval. So I think they're bottom of A, top of B, but that's just me. Let's press into Vespid. I played a lot against the Vespid a lot. I don't know if you guys have played. Well, you played as Vespid a lot, Dan. So I think let's go with the playing them experience over my playing against them.
It's the third S tier team, surely.
Straight up here, yeah, nice. All right, yeah. End discussion. Move on.
Not really. I mean, they are actually really good on Vulcus and Beta Decima. They're pretty unstoppable, to be fair.
Yeah.
Tomb World is really tough, and Into the Dark is really tough. And I don't really see them beating Canoptek. Because, again, if they smash a guy into melee, especially they stun you with the accelerator, yada yada, you are kind of done. Although they can deal with Deathwatch, interestingly, I think. But yeah, I think Vespids, they're about as good as Sanctifiers, I would say, right now. That feels too harsh because they just struggle too much on Into the Dark. I think they're actually top of C tier.
Top of C.
Yeah, okay. I feel like Vespids have serious damage output, still very unreliable, and the fact they struggle so much on these formats makes them not a serious competitive choice.
Sounds good. Bart, thoughts?
I was worried that I would have to now spend 10 minutes disagreeing with Dan, but I think they are about where I would have them. Yeah, they can kill certain Marines, or like most of the Marines, with the fancy weapons, and they do benefit from that fly mobility. However, they're still a 2 APL team with no comms, and no special shenanigans that would help them on Tomb World or Into the Dark. So yeah, for that reason, I would keep them there. And funnily enough, I would probably knock Phobos below them because I think Beat is getting too chunky. So there's that. But
I think
that's
Phobos
just
are
my
worse than
opinion.
Vespid.
If Phobos are not good anymore, Brian, I'm sorry, but this is like you're living with you're living in the past. It's like, where's my plant beacons? Where's my reliability? No, they're not good anymore.
He's making fun of breaches. He's making fun of Phobos. He's making fun of Deathwatch. He's making fun of my beautiful Necrons. Why have we even invited this guy?
No. I'm making fun of you guys, not the teams.
So, like, I'm just looking at these teams here, and I think Phobos enjoy killing all of these teams. Like I would happily play that matchup.
Legionaries.
I think. Yeah, Legionaries. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad matchup.
Nah, I disagree.
Well, but anyway, but sure, we'll see how crowded B gets. But like, I think you guys are overhyping Legionaries. Like when I played them, it hurt. It hurt so much playing Legionaries. This is triggering.
Right.
This is triggering me so much. I did play a lot of Beta Decima. Anyway, we're on Vespid. Let's talk Vespid before we get derailed. C tier, yeah. I think so. This team is can you roll fives on steroids, and essentially like they are very good at killing elites. You do get rerolls, but like flank should on paper be good, but it just seems to give people kills, and then the seek and destroy stuff, I'm just not too sure how well it works. And as you said, they are just like an 8-inch threat range team. So long as you get good at measuring 8 inches, maybe have a visual metric for what that looks like, then you're fine, and you can just you can avoid it. So top of C is good. Any rear attacks? Void Dancers, Bart, the previous Void Dancer King.
Yeah, so what I'm going to say is that for all the people trying to cope with recent nerfs, just move on, play Blades of Khaine, please. Yeah. With like looking at Void Dancers, while they were an extremely potent and capable team a year ago, just before the previous Worlds, now the situation is way different. Over the course of that year, they managed to lose their mobility, lose their durability, lose their consistency when it comes to damage output, and lose their tricks and shenanigans.
Yeah.
And throughout that time, we had at least a couple teams that got released that Void Dancers don't want to play against. So, all things considered, unfortunately, their time is in the past. Like it's gone with the wind. I would put them somewhere. Yeah, I'm gonna be controversial here because we haven't had yet a controversial, like super controversial statement. I'm gonna put them in D tier.
D tier. Whereabouts in D?
Top of it. Like I like if I wanted to be more serious, I should actually put them somewhere in C tier, but because there's still like 8 models on free APL. But okay, let's be serious. Let's put them somewhere in C tier. Okay, let's put them top of C tier.
You just looked at all of C tier and were like, none of these teams are taking over that team, right?
I wanted to be controversial, but then I look at it, it's like, nah. Okay, but so they lost a lot throughout the year. A lot.
Yeah.
Almost every area of that team, became worse.
Dan, Thoughts?
I don't think they're better than Rattlings. I would say they're below them. Yeah, they did lose a lot over time. I feel like the nerfs tended to be quite small, but this time they did hit them hard, because I think it's that thing of just like, don't leave any team that's declassifying too strong. So yeah, I think Void Dancers have been kicked to the curb a bit, just to make sure that there's no teams that aren't being touched that are too strong. So I think that below Rattlings makes sense to me.
So just a few things on this. The Blades nerf. So you have a 59% chance of rolling a crit on 5 dice. If you give them the reroll, it's
not guaranteed,
66. So that's the change. You're correct. Like, it was 90 something percent that you would roll a single hit with severe to be able to make a crit. But now obviously it's like 66% if you give them a reroll, or 59%. So that's the reduction on the Curtains Falls, which is big. But it does give them access to 4/6 damage, which is nice in the elite meta. So all their players and stuff, the Blades, get a little bit better at killing elites. But I don't disagree with you guys. Like, but I think people may be slightly overreacting to the nerf. Like, they were always a glass cannon. Like, that was the way that the team was, right? Like, now the piercing means that they are still a glass cannon, but in a different way. Note that they can still roll a domino field. They have less dice, but they can still roll a domino field and just ignore all the damage done anyway. So those things still exist. They've just increased the variance. So the reason why I didn't like the nerfs to Phobos was because of an increase of variance. Void Dancers now have the same, and so
yeah, but there was a certain level of certainty when you played Void Dancers a year ago, and these days it's just a casino team. So
I agree, and that's the main nerf, which is why I think, like, pre-nerf, I think they were A tier. I think post-nerf, like, personally, I would probably put them somewhere in B, but middle C is fine. Like, that's fine. Let's talk Warp Coven. So, Dan, you go first, because you probably have more reps with this team than I have. Although I might have played them more recently than you, but I don't know.
Kind of fading from memory at this point.
Not your favourite team.
I've always been about Necrons.
I thought you like the lore of Warp Coven so much.
I think definitely taken into Worlds, right?
At least for the past 11 months.
But I've got 1,000 Suns Codex, right? I played 40k for this faction. If that doesn't tell you of my fanboy of them, nothing else will. But yeah, it's not, unfortunately, a serious change to keep them in a playable state, I think. Like, oh wow, the Sorcerer's got an extra wound. What did he do? 2 extra wounds on the team. However, minus 12 because you've lost an elite choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do
and
have
a gunner,
shenanigans.
right?
Sorry?
And a gunner.
They can't take 2 gunners.
Well, and a gunner, yeah. They do have shenanigans, so I can see the match where having 5 operatives doesn't really matter, because you still just sit on the vantages the whole game. You fly forwards, you grab the point, and then you teleport away. But, like, yeah, I just don't see them being actually good anymore. I don't see them winning these top competitive games. I don't see why you would play them over, like, you know, Deathwatch, over Mandrakes, over Raveners, who do that same, like, sneaky 5 operative team thing better. I just feel like Warp Coven are middle of D tier.
Yeah. Bart, do you want to go with your opinion?
I mean, there's still some raw power coming with the Sorcerers. And they really do have... Yeah, it's fine, but like, you still get, like, to take very powerful operatives, and for that, like, yes, they lost a lot, losing an operative and losing a potential gunner choice, but I think that overall they should still be top of C, just because Sorcerers are so powerful. Like, they still have all this dust. They still have those arcane robes, and many teams that will just struggle to take them off the board. The Sorcerers, that is, and like, for that reason, I would just keep them in the top of C.
So you think top of C, middle of D. So going down to 5 octaves is huge for kill grade. Like if you compare the 5 octaves of these guys versus the 5 octaves of these guys, like that is just a fundamental, like ridiculous change. Pre this,
I have double counteract except once.
yeah, only once, and that sort of thing. So pre nerf, I think they were in line to be an S tier team, in my opinion. Post nerf, I think they are probably like I want to say like in the middle of C somewhere, like below Battleclade. I don't know. I don't know enough about Gellerpox, so I don't want to cast an opinion on this, but I think they probably sit like down here. Is my opinion.
Just keep in mind that they're very unlikely to be a 5-man team. They're more likely to be a 6 or 7-man team. So
exactly. So like I always ran like 2 angles basically. Very rarely went full elite, but you used to have 5 elites and 2 angles, which was a pretty valid thing, and now you just have 4 elites and 2 angles, and like that is a lot when it comes to board presence, board control. Like having on ITD 2 different flamers that can go and contest 2 different flanks was huge. I use 2 flamers a lot, and just losing those sort of abilities I think is really big. So 3 APL hit, 12 wounds hit, like that's a lot. So I think might have been too much. I think maybe they could have just said like you can't have more than this amount of rubrics or something. I don't know, like give them more angles instead. But yeah, I think they've gone from like a huge fall from grace down into middle of C. All right, next up is Wreckers. Who has played? I haven't played against or with Wreckers in this new meta, so
I've given them a go.
Go for it.
Or I played against them. Yeah, so the biggest thing about the team was you used to just be able to shut them down with stun, and there was nothing they could do. Or you could close the hatchways, and they would have an absolutely miserable game where you slowly took them off the board. They now can't be shut down like that, which is absolutely massive. And they do have stats. They got a lot of wounds. They got just a scratch. They've got Wrecker points, which is a really strong ability. But they still do have a threat range problem. I was talking to Command Point Shane about this, and he was sort of saying like he still doesn't rate them. I can see why. I think Wreckers are going to be good, but I just don't think they're going to be this top meta menace everyone thinks. But they are pretty strong into like Deathwatch and can compete with Canoptek, I think. So like middle of B, I would say.
Like above Blade Brains?
Yeah, probably.
Cool. But
so I actually don't rate them that high. I think that this team, yes, it helped them to get that change to the APL buff, but at the same time, the team that if you get out activated with Wreckers, your opponent just needs to understand that they need to stay outside of your range, and you won't be able to do anything about it. And yeah, I can see that they will be better into elites or teams with equal number of activations, but I've never rated them that high. I can see them being somewhere in B, but then again, I would probably put them at the very bottom of B, and then I would put Phobos in C and Yaegirs in D, just to make enough space for us.
I think that is going to go down. We'll see. I mean, I fundamentally disagree about this, but for the neatness, fine. So you think it's more like this? Okay.
Yes.
So theoretical knowledge on this, right? So the new security tac ops, Plant Banner is pretty much their only security option. I think like Envoy, they're too slow. So I don't think that makes sense. They don't out-activate many people. Martyrs, they don't have enough models to lose. So Plant Banner, sure. Seek and Destroy is kind of fine, but again, they're slow, so being able to get route can be difficult on some maps. And Dominate is kind of based on these guys surviving, and they're okay. They're 4 up, big wound pool, I guess, but there's some really killy things that exist in this meta right now that I think chunk through that pretty effectively. Note that they do just kill a lot of stuff themselves, but they still have that reliability issue. Yeah, I think they are. I mean, I personally would alternate these two. Like, I think they're okay. I think Legionary is too high. Yeah, I think they sit in B, but I just don't think they're going to score attack ops that well, and I think maybe they can just be outranged. And if you play a slow game against them, then they don't get their APL buffs. So like if you wait out, then they're not going to be able to get it because they can't get the amped up, right? So they have to be charging or they have to be shooting, and if they don't get any shots or you don't give them any charges, they're down as a 2 APL team. So if you play a non-event turn 2, then you can probably contest their objective and do what you need to do. So I think bottom of B, maybe top of C is where I put them. I think personally, Phobos play a better objective game for crit op attack ops than these guys do. Although these guys do kill better, but that's just my 2 cents.
I think killing is a bit more important these days than it used to be. Hence I would stick to the opinion that Phobos belong in the gutter. Like, maybe not in the gutter, but
my boys.
They belong.
My boys.
I'm sorry, but they got nerfed just before we wanted to take them to a big event, and they haven't got any better since. So there's that.
Cool. So one team left to go is Wormblade. So if only we had someone who knew about this team, but we don't. So we'll just skip, right?
Probably E tier.
Come on, Dan. Where do they sit? Tell us the good news.
I mean, see that little image you have for the team? That guy with the pistols?
Just leave it there.
He's really good, actually. Yeah, they have that dash ploy, which, as I say, is really, really good. They do have similar problems to the teams in E tier, except you can bring a couple of melee monsters. And they do have certain tools that mean it's not so bad. So they're actually pretty similar to Aquilons, I'd say, in that they have really devastating shooting. This ability that keeps you off the board until the end of turn 2. And then they are a 2 APL horde. They don't have a comm with the dash ploy. They have 3 APL agents. So I would rate them slightly higher than Aquilons, because I think this current meta, they do have the damage output to rip through Deathwatch. Canoptek is a really hard matchup, but at least in my mind, I've proven that it's winnable. And I think there's very few matchups in the game that Wormblade can't deal with. It's just a couple of those melee teams, like maybe Fellgores and Raveners, that they would really struggle with. But still, they have tools into them. And a smart player can do well. I think they reward positional play a lot, so if you've got that down, then Wormblade are really good, and I think they definitely have legs with the new tac ops.
Aren't they shooting with 3-3 shotguns?
Well, 3-3 rending shotgun. You're going to throw crack grenades, but
yeah. Obviously, I'm
it's
pulling your leg, but
it's hit to crit. Yeah, it's no, they're shooting with that rending mining laser.
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with them being so high. I can see their advantages, and I'll probably put them a bit lower than you did, simply because I think this game still revolves around you not losing your agents and that one gun that does a lot of damage. And if someone knows how to dispatch of these models, then all of a sudden you're like, okay, cool, the rest of my team doesn't do much. So there's that.
You have tools to protect them, at least. Though. You have flip to conceal, you have dash floor, you have get down, Mr. President. So.
Yeah, I get that, but I would just probably keep them a bit lower than that. But yeah,
whereabouts
I can see them in B somewhere. Ryan?
So you reckon they're like just somewhere around here? Top of B or no?
Either way, it's irrelevant. They're about to go, rotate out. So
I think they might be better than you guys think. Like, for me, this like Aquilons Wormblade is like an interesting matchup choice. I think the strength that these guys have over Aquilons right now is that no one really knows what this team does. So like they get that benefit against a lot of people where you can catch them out. I think having access to so much lethal 5, Rending, Ceaseless, and automatic guaranteed crits is big. Like, that lets them kill a lot of the hard to kill stuff that people aren't expecting. In a similar way that these guys do, in a similar way that Hearthkyn do, I think they kill people really effectively on that. I personally would put them in bottom of A. I think they're a horde team that has decent shooting and can play the objective pretty well. So I think they probably sit up there, is my 2 cents. So them averaging out, being top of B, kind of makes sense.
I mean, you Deathwatch players are all the same. I explain the sniper profile, and I can just feel you sweating across the table from me.
That's it, right? It's like that guy will just kill someone, and I can't do anything about it because you're probably going to get like
he's not supposed to die.
2 or 3 crits or something, and then he's just dead. So, yeah, I think they're probably like well set into that meta. Personally, I rate them in a similar vein to like Brew Brothers and that sort of stuff. I think you could play them the same Brew Brothers play, and do all right with them. They're Seek and Destroy and Infiltrate, right? That's their
Yeah.
archetypes. So that's my 2 cents. But happy to yield to more experienced people on that. Okay, that is all the teams, and we did it in 2 hours and 24 minutes. Wow, look at us, speedy. We did slow down towards the end. I think we're getting tired. But let's just quickly run through and see if there's anything we disagree with. So in E tier, Pathfinders, Vetguard, and Kasrkin.
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right. Like, no changes here. So Kasrkin's still the worst team in the game. That breaks my heart.
Pretty tragic.
Pretty tragic. In D, we got Starstriders, Crew, Breaches, Kommandos, Scouts, and Hernkyn Yaegirs.
It feels harsh on Scouts. I don't know.
Yeah, I think like.
Okay, bump them up a notch, like as in like put them at the very top. Great. Is this where they belong?
He wants to go. He wants to leave the call.
He wants to leave. Hand of the Archon, Gellerpox, Warp Coven, Battleclade, Angels of Death, Blooded, Hierotek Circle, Void Dances. It's a memory game. This Rattlings. I think Rattlings are better than Vespid. Thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah, fine.
I reckon they're better than Phobos.
They're better than Phobos. Phobos are trash.
Sorry,
Ryan. I want to see the tears. I want to see them tears.
Wreckers in B. Legionary, I think that is too high. I think Wreckers are better than Legionary, like, personally.
Yeah. Okay. I see that.
And then Corsairs. Novitiates.
About right.
I actually fundamentally disagree about Wreckers versus Legionary because Wreckers are a 2 APL team, but let's I'm gonna yield to both of you.
Based on time.
I think 3 APL is quite important in this game, and if your 3 APL is conditional upon your opponent actually allowing you to play the game and getting the 3 APL, then it's bad. But yeah, there we go.
Yeah, they could go dominate, but then it's only 8 models. I don't know. I know. Plague Marines, so Sanctifiers, Plague Marines, Hunter Clade, Exaction Squad. This feels high for Exaction Squad. Like, now I've seen the rest of this.
It feels high for Plague Marines.
Say again, sorry?
Maybe
below here? I think they should be lower.
I think I'll bump Exaction down a notch or 2.
I think Exaction below Plague Marines.
For the reflection, I would bump them. I would knock them down to the very bottom of B tier.
Ooh.
Below Novitiates.
Harsh.
I know it's harsh. I know it's a drastic change, but looking at how the meta shapes in general, looking at this tier list, I'll probably It's just,
Well-
of course, it's just a matter of opinion, and people may say, "Oh no, Exaction are much better." This is the moment for Mikhail to put a very lengthy comment in the comment section
I only know
and
the one
explain that
strong
you
Exaction
guys
player,
are super wrong, blah 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 blah. Yeah, so at least give them an opportunity and put them in at the very bottom of B tier.
I have played a lot of Exaction. I think that seems fair. Like Huntclade, I think that's good. Goremongers seems about right. Nemclaw, I believe it. Aquilons, I can see going higher. And Wormblade, I can see going higher, but I know you guys don't. Raveners, Hearthkyn. Is this really where we think Hearthkyn are now? Like, are they better than Raveners?
Yeah.
Do you want them lower than Ravenous, Ryan?
I don't know. I mean, for me, as playing Deathwatch, absolutely not. This team's cancer. But
Cancer?
Yeah, that's awful for me. Like, all my guys are
But
crits
that's
all the time.
Being able to deal with the
Where's
S-tier
that
teams,
button
and I don't
to
think Ravenous can.
Yeah. I
I
would
don't think Ravenous can deal with the S-tier teams. I think Hearthkyn can.
True. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. Fellgore. It's probably about right. I think they're better than this.
Better than Hearthkyn? I don't know.
Well, this matchup specifically.
I feel like they're
yes,
too far away
This
from
matchup,
Goremongers.
no. So maybe these guys come down a bit because I think.
Yeah, I think
you're right.
I think Fellgore's similar to
this-
Ravenous as well.
This matchup, I think Fellgore are good in, but I think
Yeah.
this is better for these guys. Same sort of conversation for Mandrakes, but they can probably do okay
I can see
into
that.
these.
In fact, are we going to make the same conversation about Salvagers and Colts? We bump
These guys
Salvagers
go-
up 2 notches.
Like no. Like let's keep them where they are. I don't want to get like an
Yeah, no.
accidental nerf again.
Oh, okay. Salvagers are rubbish.
And at the moment, you're not
Yeah,
meta
they're
chasing,
rubbish.
right? At the moment, you're not
Like,
meta chasing, so it's fine.
Spanish tier lists had them in D tier like 2 days ago. So yeah,
Ooh, okay.
like keep them where they are.
Brew Brothers, fine. This is.
I don't know, they feel like they have weaknesses.
Yeah, I feel like we might be overrating these two a little bit, but this feels correct to me.
Yeah. And those are the 4 best teams in the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could.
Yeah.
You could put these guys into S. I think.
I would swap Inquisition with Blades of Khaine. I think Inquisition are better.
You think they're better placed into this matchup and Blades of Khaine matchup?
I think that Inquisition just play the tack ops in that horde-ish manner and just score
Just do it
tack
better.
op points easier than Blades of Khaine.
I
That's
believe there's a tier of difference between Inquisition and Deathwatch.
Oh yeah, there is. Like I don't agree with Ryan trying to squeeze in more teams in ST just so his
Deathwatch
precious
look more balanced.
Deathwatch
I'm just
more
saying,
balanced.
I wouldn't be surprised if I saw at the end of WCW one of these teams winning it. I would be surprised to see Brew Brothers win it.
It's going to be Kasrkin. I don't know what you're talking about.
All I'm gonna say is that if we
think that's it.
removed the latest box, as in like the 2 teams that came with it from the game, this meta would look much healthier.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love my Deathwatch. Please don't nerf them, DB. I love them so much. They are so
I
good.
just love the
and so
fact they're
fun.
hard counter faction rules like poison. That's just great.
There is a movement there. All right, I think we've completed the UK meta's opinion for WCW meta, and that's hopefully with the longest tier list we're going to do in a while because we're going to get rid of a whole bunch of these and put them into a grey zone of death. But we're all saying that Canoptek's going to win. There's going to be a load of Deathwatch players, and maybe one of these guys will take up some top 8. That's our.
It will be Canoptek or a Canoptek counter, let's be real.
I think you're right. Last opportunities for any violent disagreements before we bless the tier list. It's blessed.
Tier list is hereby blessed. If anyone disagrees, they're wrong.
Yeah,
it doesn't
divine
matter.
word
It's
of
just
God.
it doesn't matter that it's just our opinion. We have Dan here, so we're correct. There you go.
Please do spam comments about your violent disagreements in the comment section to feed
Give
the
us that
algorithm.
engagement.
That's what I want. Drive that engagement. As many comments as you can, please, about why each team is in the wrong place. That'd be great. Okay, we'll wrap it up here because otherwise we'll go all night. And I know Bart's desperate to do another 2 hours, but we'll make sure that we end on time. So clearly, you can watch more videos with this face on Turning Point Tactics. You can watch more videos with this face on Captain Kill Team or Captain KT. You can watch no videos of this face because he doesn't have a channel yet, but maybe he has something else he wants to shout out.
What are you talking about? I appeared on both of your channels.
So watch both of our content and you'll see the beautiful Bart.
Exactly.
Like Bigfoot. Only appears in the background.
Dan, is there anything else you want to say to close this out?
Yeah, subscribers, stick around when I have the 2-hour segment about me crying about Hierotek and Ryan talking about Deathwatch and Bart yammering about the dwarves. It'll be great.
This is it. It's what we need. We need more of this.
Do you want to go do a tactical tip as well? Oh no! Like I want to have some supper. Like give me a break.
The tactical tips are only on MetaWatch, so you have to dial in every week to be able to get the tactical tips.
Yeah, right. Okay, cool.
And also,
anyway,
it's
thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks
a lot for having me.
I appreciate it.
Love you to bits, but I really want to have some food. So, love you and leave you. Thank you to all the listeners. Let us know why we're wrong. And this is my third shout out to Mikhail and to give him a chance to tell us as to why Exaction should be in the S tier now. So Mikhail, if you don't put a comment underneath this video, you are like cursed. I'm serious. Anyway, thanks a lot. And I leave you to the 2 wonderful hosts of this show today.
Co-hosting, nailing it. All right, that's us. Thank you, peace, love you, bye, and we'll see you on another episode soon.
That brings us to the end of the episode. Hopefully you found something new or useful while listening, and if you did, throwing us a like would be greatly appreciated. If you want to make sure you don't miss any episodes, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on the bell so you get notifications as soon as the next one drops. It really is the best way to help a small channel like ours. And if you can't wait and you do want early access, we have a Patreon where you can get exclusive access to all our content ahead of time. As always, we'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback. Just drop a comment below and we'll get right to you. Thank you so much for listening. I'm your host Ryan, this has been Turning Point Tactics, and we'll see you next week.